Hi there, my name's Rybonator. You might know me as a professional dice goblin, but I also moonlight as a dungeon master on Tuesday nights. I wanted to let you know about a brand new campaign that I'm running called the Red Wagon Inn Season 2. I just started a brand new campaign over on Twitch at levelup_TTV. That campaign runs at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I know that time doesn't exactly work for everybody. That's why videos like this exist. We record our videos so that you can watch them later in case you miss anything, but this is a brand new campaign, so there's never been a better time to just jump right in with us. We do a ton of different giveaways like dice and art every single week during our stream, so if you want to win some dice, maybe even some that you've seen be made here on my channel, come check it out. And if you're a typical subscriber worried about notifications driving you crazy for a show that you don't even watch, don't even worry about it. This will be the only video that you'll get a notification for. The rest will just show up in the Red Wagon Inn Season 2 playlist, so you can still be a Rybonator subscriber and not have to worry about this interrupting your day. All that to say, I really do hope you come check us out. We have a great time over there and have a lot of audience interaction, so it's really fun to catch us live. But enough talking, let's get into some Dungeons & Dragons. Grab a drink, pull up a chair, and come hang out with us at the Red Wagon Inn. Welcome back to Season 2, Campaign 2 of the Red Wagon Inn, and we are super excited to have all of you here. We're super excited for all of the new things that we have planned, our brand new layout so that you can see chat down at the bottom left, interacting with us both and here and on the VODs on YouTube, so you can see what we were talking about every time we say something weird happened and you have no idea what we're referencing. But mostly, we're excited to see you all here back for Season 2. Thank you for joining us, and I'm just excited. I don't know about all the players here, but we have all our OG players back once more. We got Jakey from Moonbeam Menagerie. We got Drew from Dicey Encounters. We got Jakey from Jakey Boy Arts. We got Brie from Fortune Favors. And we got Alex, the CEO of Level Up Dice. So super excited to have you all in here. Even with the ominous Resident Evil Village baby sounds from Brie. Oh, she didn't know she was muted for that part. That we're just trying to set the creepy and darker tone of this time around. Well, for those who have never joined us before, welcome to the Red Wagon Inn. We're going to play Dungeons & Dragons here live with you all. We're going to interact with chat as we do so. We're going to play and have us a good time on Campaign 2. But you might not know some of us, so let's give us some introductions to everybody. Not your character, but to you as a person. I'll have you introduce your characters a bit later. But for now, let's introduce everybody within the cast. My name's Ryan, or Rybonator. I'm going to be the Dungeon Master for this campaign and this season, and we're going to be playing in my homebrew world of the Red Wagon Inn on the continent of Asterion. Jakey, who are you? Why are you joining us tonight?
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm Jakey. I'm one half of Moonbeam Menagerie. Hey, Serenity, other half. And I'm here to play some D&D with some friends.
Woo! Drew, who and how are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm Drew with Dicey Encounters and also of one of the dumb brothers from Two Dumb Brothers. And something super special today, it's this boy's birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Loki.
Happy birthday to the cutest
Okay, I'm
boy.
done. Continue on.
Loki is the Red Wagon Inn mascot, and Jakey's hyped for it. So, Jakey, who the heck are you?
I am Jakey. That is me. I'm Jakey of Jakey Boy Arts. I make comics, illustrations, and drawing. I'm not nearly talented enough as these folk to make dice, but I make comics about the games you play with dice. And then I also stream art and games. Last week you could hear the baby noises also on my stream last week when I was playing Resident Evil and crying. It was great. Everybody got to hear baby. So yeah, that's me. Hello, Jakey Boy Arts. I love you.
We'll give Brie a moment as she's handing off a baby. Alex, who are you and how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I can't wait to play some D&D. I am Alex. I am the brainchild behind the amazing Level Up Dice, which everyone keeps saying I'm CEO, but I'm more in charge of R&D than anything else. I come up with the cool designs, and I cannot wait to introduce you to my new character.
We are super excited. Brie, are you there to tell us who and how are you?
Hey, I'm Brie and I'm a mess. No, I'm Brie. I'm from Fortune Favors. I also work for Level Up Dice. I'm super excited to be back for Season 2. However, I also will be baby wrangling at times, and this is what my fun That is so you don't see my bottles when they're in use.
Your bottles. Oh man, we already have a hype train going. Everybody here, super hype. Thank you, Verity, for starting us off on the hype train. You absolutely rock. We have just a few things to get ready to show you, which are the giveaways that we're going to be doing tonight. We have some amazing folk who have
Giveaways
decided
for
to
free?
do some giveaways for us for free. And I know that for free.
For free.
I know that we have some new people who aren't quite familiar for it. So in the chat, you will see those giveaways as they come up. The first of the giveaways is going to be a giveaway from our artist down here, Jakey Boy Arts. You will see this little headshot that I have of me. It's the first time I get a headshot, and it looks so good. All of the others have their own headshots as well, but they'll show up as we start the stream. Jakey's going to give away a headshot for whoever's character wins the very first giveaway. So you're going to see a lot of his art and on style because the first hour we're going to do that giveaway. Then we have a couple other dice giveaways from some amazing folk. We have one set of dice called Luxury and Opulence, and oh, my head is in the way. We have one set of dice called Luxury and Opulence from Serenity at Moonbeam Menagerie, the other half of the Moonbeam Menagerie duo that we have here with
the
Jackie.
Moonbeam Gals.
The Moonbeam Gals, the Dice Damsels, as they are called on the Twitter. We also have some amazing Misty Haze dice by Deakus Dice, and I really love that logo on there. It's very like, ooh, Crusader looking, absolutely killer, super awesome. And then we have one Prismatic Shatter Chonky by Cosmic Dice, which all the dice to start this one off are just absolutely killer. So huge thank you to all the amazing
4
handmade dice
giveaways?
makers. 4 giveaways on day one. Look at us. It's like we're trying to get people to watch, and by doing so, getting some amazing giveaways on here from some amazing folks. So thank you to all those people who provided, and thank you to those who are going to participate in the giveaway. So it's already live. If you check down there, make sure you're following and then do ! giveaway, and you'll enter in the giveaway on stream. So is there anything that we need to hype or shill before we get started for campaign season 2?
One sec, Alex.
Can I jump in?
This goes with the giveaway. Just as a little disclaimer, all the dice ones are free shipping in the U.S. International, you're gonna have to cover the shipping because shipping's expensive.
Yes, Drew did ask me to do that. I'm just a bad person. Thank you for reminding myself by doing it, Drew.
And if you don't claim the shipping on your free dice, don't worry, they'll send them to me and I will eat them live.
Can I steal a spotlight for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Thursday we're releasing season 2 of our Glyphic blind bags. The box you can get full collectible boxes with a rare included for sure. They have some of the newest, coolest designs we've ever done. You can only get in here. They are absolutely stunning. They're coming to your local game stores as well as online, and we're going to be doing a whole bunch of unboxings. And I can't wait to get some dice out of these as well.
Go buy them. I bought 2 boxes. Go do it.
I want to buy them. I love blind box things. I don't know why my voice is like this.
We're going to start a whole new Pokemon box
your game
trend.
Store, if your game store does not have them, tell them they should.
Yeah.
Talk to your local game
It's so
store.
cool.
Yell at them. How dare they?
How
Also, the
dare
really cool
you,
thing,
local game store.
you guys get to hear it first. So every box has a guaranteed rare, but there is a chance for the other 11 dice in there to also be potentially rares and foils, which means there is a chance that you could have a god box that has everything that's rare and foil. Just cool.
Dang.
God box.
God box.
I'm
God
finding
box.
this now. Is there a god box? Is there one that is all, or is it
No, we have-
completely random?
It's all completely random, which means we have no idea what's going to go. In fact, when they came here for Australia to package, it was already all the dice had been put away into sealed bags that we can't even see what's in them. So it's completely unknown. I got no idea what's in my boxes.
God box.
Well, I am very excited. I'll have to buy those because I have been wanting to get my itch of opening Pokemon cards. So this is basically the same thing for me. Also, I'm seeing more and more hype trains,
Thursday.
both from By Any Other
train
Name and
complete.
Verity. Another hype train going up. Y'all all rock. Let's get it kicked off if there's nothing else we need to shill. Beautiful. There is no recap to do this time. Nothing to roll. So
man.
let's just jump right into it. Everybody grab a drink, pull up a chair, come hang out with us as we get started for campaign 2 of the Red Wagon Inn. And where we're going to start, you all awake. to the sounds of wagon wheels. Slowly going over dark terrain, you cannot see the sky outside the wagon's covering. The terrain is rough. You're barely able to sit in your seats. Some of you are laid over, but all of you are bound and gagged within this wagon. The back curtain is closed. You see nothing, but you begin to smell sulfur and wet dirt as you ride in this wagon. You can't help but think of how you got here yesterday, as we're going to go back one day prior to where Winter and Asterion, you sit in some bushes outside a small tent with junk surrounding it. Quite literally, junk surrounding it out in the land of Ludrith, right outside of Lichenford. This is a quiet area, but you've been hearing a lot of commotion come from this small tent, kind of patchwork leathers and quite a lot of metal swords and shields and armor pieces and just trinkets thrown around like a literal junkyard around this tent. And as you sit in the bushes, you hear loud, heavy footsteps. Winter and Asterion, for everybody's benefit, why don't you go ahead and give me a description of your characters? Let's start with Asterion.
Hello, all. I am Asterion. You look at me and you see almost drow-like, dark gray skin, but I have crimson red hair, ombres to like a lighter red orange at the bottom. She has a high collar. I tried to replicate it here on stream, and she's probably about like 5'6". She has armor that is nicely fit to her body, so it's not clunky like how I usually imagine to be, but it's like nice and cut with some keyholes here, cute little fashionable keyholes around here and her little tummy to make it a little fashionable. She has a rapier on her back, some javelins attached too, and she wears a hood a lot going around. We are.
And
So
we have
that is actually
some art to go along with your description. All of these headshots, again, made by Jakey Boy Arts. We'll have to find out what type of elf she is specifically. And as I put her head up next to her face, why don't you give me a description of Winter, Brie?
You know I was muted.
There you go.
So, Winter is a young girl. She looks like she's maybe in her early 20s, late teens. She has dark black hair, and it looks like as it gets to the ends, the color is seeping out until the bottoms are white. She looks a lot like what I do on stream today. She has a black dress, a black cloak, and a crisp white collar. She is very, very, very pale, like she's never seen a ray of sun in her life. She does look alive, though, despite her best attempts not to. She has very, very long, spindly eyelashes, and she has taken charcoal and smudged it around her eyes and wet it to her lips. And she is just kind of sitting next to her friend, holding a book and just like watching and scribbling into the notebook.
As we also have a picture for Winter, I think people are getting the vibe you were going for in chat there with the Wednesday Addams aesthetic, and it absolutely kills it. It's so freaking good looking. I love it. As Winter and Asterion, you both sit outside a bush. You've been waiting to figure out what is going on inside this little hut where all this junk has been collected. The two of you have traveled just briefly, but it was almost by happenstance that you came across this outpost right outside of Lichenford. You've been staying there for a while, but had been meaning to leave to go look at the outskirts of Old Cora. But as you sit outside the tent, suddenly a large figure pushes out from the small tent, clutching a pile of metallic goods. Jakey, why don't you describe Ordell to us?
So Ordell is roughly 8'7", this very large, brawny figure, broad, massive shoulders that push out, like basically as wide as he is tall. He has a large leather poncho that covers basically the entirety of his body. His skin is this muddled grayish blue color, and he is absolutely covered in scars, burns, marks, stitching of head to toe. But most specifically on his arms, he has almost like Killmonger's little beads that he has along his chest, like those similar like burn brands that just seem to be an innumerable count. His eyes are this glowing orangish dull hue. And yeah, that's the big boy.
As you also have done art for yourself, surprisingly, you have this amazingly big blue boy, which is so freaking cool to look at here, my guy. As Winter and Ashrin, you see the large figure, which makes sense to why you heard such loud footsteps. You thought it might have been a horse hidden inside the small tent there. But this 8'7" bluish figure walks out, clutching some of the junk and throwing it into a pile nearby. Doesn't look to be having much company around him, nor does it look like if there's any more of him, any more could hide in that tentway there. It is getting close to midday and doesn't seem to be bothered by anything around him. Seems to be as if this is his home here. What are the two of you doing?
If it's midday, then Winter will have like a black lace umbrella that's just shielding her from the sun, and she's gonna turn and be like, Ash, look, it's him. Can you see him? He's here. He's here. Look, 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 look. And I like flip through my book and I point to my sketches and I'm like, shut up, like, okay, it's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
How can you not miss him? He's huge.
I know, right? Look, I tried to get as much detail as I can in the sketch. I mean, I don't want to be rude or anything, but you know, like he doesn't come out that often into like the visible area of his yard. But I have like, can you see, like, do you know exactly how many stitches are there? Like, can you see exactly? Do you think it matches?
I think the 3 looks very accurate, yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's very on point, actually.
Ordell, as they speak, I need you to roll me a perception check.
First natural 20 of the show.
Wait, really?
I'm not even joking. Dicey encounters, baby. Let's go. Or wait, oh man, let's. It's kind of hard to see, but
I am upset that I need you to get more hype for the first natural 20 of the show. I just got to say, because that came out of nowhere. I clipped your mic so hard.
just scream.
Whoa, okay, first natural 20, first roll. It's a good omen. Goodbye, critical roll. Who are they? Right, sweet. Ordell, you throw some of the metal down in the yard, and you begin to hear in this silent area, there's not many birds that live around you. You hear whispers nearby, and look, there's a small black parasol sticking out of one of the bushes nearby. You can't see their faces, but you're not entirely certain that they're designed for stealth, but you definitely recognize that there are people watching you from the bushes nearby your hut. This is not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last.
Specifically, the umbrella makes Ordell like go from like, I think when he first hears the shuffling, Ordell like grab something close to him, but like seeing the umbrella, like his shoulders kind of drop. He just glances over, and then he just goes back to like what he was doing, keeping an ear out, basically like almost as if it's like following in his periphery. But yeah, he's just gonna go take a bundle of scrap and things. And he's going to take it to the farther back portion of this junk area.
Winter and Ashrin, he seems to have looked over in your direction, but you're not entirely certain if he's noticed you, but he has moved off onto the other side of the scrap heap.
Ash,
Yes.
I dare you to go touch that. Like, I dare you to go touch like the first piece of junk. I dare you.
I mean, I want to anyway, so I'm gonna Yeah, I was gonna do it
And
anyways.
it's like, yeah, it's like no big deal, but like, do it.
She tosses her over her shoulder. Yeah, I mean, why, of course. And she's gonna try to be quiet and step on patches of sand so to make less sound. And she's gonna touch, but also start to kind of look through it too. Like she is going beyond the dare.
Asterion, as you walk over, Ordell, you can hear the footsteps move up. You're anticipating them. Kind of a exasperated sigh exits your lips as your ear kind of twitches to the side. As Asterion, you run up, there's a small pile of what looks to be like metal stakes or poles on almost ends of heavy spears in a bucket here. As you begin, you look back at Winter as you hold one, kind of shake it, and it makes a small metal sound before you a little bit more carefully begin to look through it. Winter, seeing her touch it so calmly and the thing not noticing, it's probably safe for you to go up as well if you'd like.
Winter kind of like stands up and like brushes down her dress and like adjusts herself and starts to like inch towards this is the closest that she's ever been before. And she's just kind of like giddy, but approaching like carefully and quietly.
With the umbrella back over, stealth not necessarily the first thing in Winter's mind as she slowly approaches, seeing some of this old rusted chains here to the side, bits of old mail kind of piled up in small boxes and buckets here. This quite literally looks like a junk heap to you as you approach, one of them looking a bit odd. There's some weird structure to this. As Ordell, you see them now actively playing with your things. What are you doing?
I think Ordell, because like he knows this place better than anyone, though it's like chaos, it's his chaos. Let's see. I think Ordell's his mind says, I'm gonna teach them a very valuable lesson. I'm gonna try and sneak behind them.
Okay. As Winter and Asterion, you're now focused on the piles of junk before you. You're keeping an ear out for the moving giant, but you haven't heard him in some time. Ordell, go ahead and roll me a stealth roll, and then Asterion and Winter, roll me perception.
I also, I have an ability where I can add a d6 to a roll. Just for funsies, I'd like to use this for this time. I don't need to, I don't think, but I still want to.
I'm absolutely fine with it.
Deception, Rybo?
Yes.
Okay. 14.
14, Asterion.
11.
11, Ordell.
26.
A stealthy giant in his own domain. This is his scrapyard. He knows exactly where all the pieces of metal are that are sturdy enough to stand and make no sound, and all of the clanky bits that you might want to avoid that you all have been walking hastily through. Asterion and Winter, your faces are basically buried in the scrap heap now. Both of you roll me an investigation.
If I stand completely still, I'm invisible to the naked eye.
Your character looks and is built exactly Drax, but blue.
Oh no! What have I done?
Just lean into the pop culture references is my advice.
We'll get him
I
into.
guess.
We'll get him on as a guest. I'm sure he'd be down.
25.
25, Asterion.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Both of you notice a small box of rings hidden here underneath the mail. A couple of them just kind of copper, a lot of them bent and misshapen, like people would have thrown these away. Many of them rusted. But you do notice one underneath them all that's this. It's actually got a gemstone in it. You're not even sure if the big beast knows that this is here. It's a small little emerald gemstone in this ring. Winter, your eye catches it first. You don't have to snatch it up before Asterion, but you do notice it.
I pick it up and I grab onto her hand and I'm like, shh, souvenirs.
Ordell, they're picking up your favorite ring. You've never picked it up yourself, but you didn't want to touch it. You were going to touch that later. They're picking up your ring. What are you doing?
Can I detect magic?
You can. Ordell
as-
we'll do it at the same time if you like.
I was gonna say, as she says souvenirs, the slam of my maul hits the ground.
Souvenirs, you say?
As I'm like right behind them at this point.
Winter, Ashrin, you hold your ground as you turn and look at it and put your hand on your weapon, but Winter, you kind of instinctually freeze and move backwards, tripping and falling over that small structure that I talked about on the floor that was a bit odd. As Alex, why don't you describe what happens as Winter falls over this small pile of junk?
As Winter trips over the small pile of trash, something stirs. She looks into the pile of trash and sees two lights appear. A whirling, creaking sound as if cogs that haven't been used for years begin to be heard. A head emerges from the trash. It's brass and silver. Parts of it have a green patina and dull dark areas, along with hints of orange rust. The head is followed by a skinny oblong body, extremely long and thin, almost malnourished looking. It begins to stand up and you notice thin legs, just wires and plates, and not much else. And two extremely long arms. All of this warforged body is in tatters of brass, silver, and rust. Initializing long-term hibernation system check. Its left eye seems to rotate clockwise and then counterclockwise as if gaining focus, while the right eye shifts through a series of colors: red, yellow, orange, green, blue, and black. As the warforged continues to extend, coming to a full rest of somewhere between 6 and 7 feet. It looks down to Winter and speaks. Input required. Advice of location and date.
It's Old Cora 4150.
You're currently in Ludrith. You're not in Old Cora yet. Ludrith 4150.
Sorry.
I mean, shit.
Syntax error. Advice of date.
4150. Right.
Last
right?
recorded memory is 200 years in the past. Over 200 years. Its head ticks slightly. System check. Offensive capabilities. It's at this stage that you first notice that the left arm is built a lot thicker than the right. As the left arm moves up, you hear a whirl and see 2 feet pivot out from its lower arm just below the wrist, coming to place at 90 degrees in a V pattern. A few seconds later, the V retracts and lines up almost perfectly with the arm, as if it was never there. Your eyes are then drawn to what can only be described as a hopper sitting attached to the forearm with a cylindrical pipe leading out of it ending above the top of the left hand. Its body rotates 90 degrees, almost comically, as you are given a view of its back. Its right hand extends around and grabs what you presume to be its spine. It moment later removes a section of its back. You notice an item resembling a musket or rifle, except that its barrel seems to be double back on itself. It brings its rifle around to the front, its left hand extending and pivoting the rifle barrel until it finishes in place with a nice resounding click. Its left hand then retracts and heads to the stock, and as if you hadn't witnessed it yourself, the gun and arm join to practically become one. This whole process took me moments, yet felt like it'd taken minutes. A click is heard in its arm, and a sound that can only be described as a ball bearing rolling down the metal pipe can be heard. Its right arm reaches up and pulls the bolt back on some kind of hole in the top of the rifle at the exact moment the ball bearing exits the pipe and lands in the rifle barrel. Its left hand then raises and a slight click is heard, followed by a small whoosh like a lighting of a match, and a small ball is propelled out of the rifle to hit a fence pole some 200 feet away. Finally, the right hand pushes some lever and the stock of the gun folds 180 degrees along the arm. Offensive capabilities, nominal. System check. Primary directive. Protection of Master Generals of the Ludrock Army. It looks towards the giant Goliath-y blue creature. Input required. Please state full name and rank.
He pauses and it's like almost that like full anger that like while he was standing over Winter like fades as his head turns.
Ordell, as in General Ordell.
Yes.
Activating secondary directive. Protect family of Master Generals. Its head glitches slightly. Activating all systems. System check complete. It turns around looking at where it lay. It reaches down and pulls out what seems to be a tattered remains of a trench coat. You have no idea how it's still in one piece, as if you can call it that. It's dark brown, but then again, its original color, who knows what it was. It places his right arm through the sleeve, and then you notice there's no left sleeve. Instead, it resembles kind of like a cloak spot on the left side, as the left hand fades into the comfort of the cloak's protection. Greetings, I am GB134-XC. You may call me XC. Your safety is my primary directive, but if you could let me know what happened in the past 200 years, that would be most helpful.
So my hands are up when Ordell goes behind us, and I just turn around and I just go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for the souvenir term. Looks like it's more than that. I'm detecting magic while this was happening too.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand to see if the others might be able to notice. And as you're doing that, let's give up the art for XC so that we can see what XC looks like, which is one of my favorites. I love all of them, but I love all the little details in XC here. And everybody else was saying masterful introduction of that, Alex. So why don't we give you the first point of inspiration for the campaign? Because that was very, very well done. Well done. And we have a new rule set for both GFYs and inspirations. For those who don't know what a GFY is, it stands for go fuck yourself. It's the opposite of an inspiration, and I can use it any time to say, no, how about you re-roll that and try and get a worse number. But we're going to give you a point of inspiration. The new rule is there's no maximum on inspirations, same way there's no maximum on GFYs, but you can only use one inspo or one GFY in any given situation. So you can't stack them up to try and make sure that something happens. So make sure you're keeping track. I'll happily give out more inspirations more often, but maybe more GFYs too. We'll see. Haven't decided on that one. But Asherin, what'd you get on your sleight of hand?
Sorry, I dropped my pen. 19.
19. Solid. With everybody's passive, no. Nobody notices that you're
Not
detecting-
19.
Yeah. With your 19, nobody notices that you are detecting magic. As you slowly cast it in the air, as you pull your hands back behind you, you notice that there are several sources of magic here in the area. Not only on yourself and Winter, there's some on Ordell. There's some within this creature. It seems to be made up entirely of magic. It in itself is, as well as something in its pockets. And, as is the little ring that Winter now carries in her hand.
Okay, I'm not gonna allude to knowing that, but it lasts 10 minutes. I don't need to remember, but I am gonna keep an eye out on all those things.
Beautiful.
Apologies for the souvenir term. Looks way more important than just a trinket.
Ordell
trinket?
Ordell leans close to Asherin's face.
Keep them, but leave me alone.
And he's gonna stand up and he's gonna go back to where he was in the trash pile.
I will follow Ordell.
He kind of sees the robot following him, pauses, and does a double take, but then keeps walking.
It's very Wall-E as Ordell walks over to another piece of trash. Actually, kind of follows and stops behind, almost waiting for orders before you begin scuffling through some of the trash, trying to look at what you have here. Asherin and Winter, this is odd. I need both of you to roll me a history check. Actually, Ordell, roll me one as well.
No.
No.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Asherin, Winter.
I
have this many.
I only rolled a 4, but that's going to be 12.
Ooh.
13.
13. That's enough information for both of you. Ordell, you've been at this trash heap for quite a while. Haven't had to talk to people, not even had to use your brain all that often. But Asherin and Winter, you've seen Warforged before. A lot of them that are still active do not look nearly as rust-covered as this one here. This one seems to have been in an inactive state for some time. However, you're in the land of Ludrith, the origination of the Warforged for the previous war. The dwarves that created them for the war all are here. It makes sense that you would see one, but not one that has been in such disrepair like this. This is, in fact, a Warforged, and you're familiar with them.
Winter's gonna try and just play it cool and be like this is a totally normal situation for anyone to be in, and grab Ash's hand and kind of be like, I didn't know you were a general. That's really cool. It, it looks like you have a lot of work to do around here. We've noticed you before. Could you use some help?
Ordell like
Jiggles
stops,
mustache.
like he's walking away. He kind of stopped to look at the Warforged, but then he's like on like a brisk pace, and he just stops on a dime and looks over his shoulder,
No.
and he goes back to moving. He goes behind the trash heap at this point, and there's a small, almost like clearing area that he starts to take things to. In his arms, I think he's probably got like a couple sheets of metal, and like a couple planks, and then he's got some tools on his side.
I turn to Ordell. Do you need me to get rid of them?
Leave them. They're not
Roger.
a threat.
XC follows in a robotic fashion behind Ordell as he gathers sheets of metal, moving them from one location to another. Winter and
The
Asheron.
legs almost spider-like.
Ooh, good to know. I like that detail.
I don't think he
We-
appreciated the dare.
I mean, we're not dead, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, I suppose I do like my body and mind together.
For now.
Sorry, Jakey's
Um,
catching up.
I said I also like my body.
Self-appreciation time.
Winter just like keeps following him, but like keeping a distance and saying, Ash and I have quite a lot of skills. We might be able to help you identify some of the objects that you have here. It looks like you have an amazing collection.
If Winter's followed Ordell at this point, about like a couple minutes of a walk within the center of the trash heap. The trash heap is built up in a dome kind of like area, and in the center it looks to be almost like a festival fairground that is completely run down. There is poles, there is things set up, there is little booths where it looks like old like games would have been. There is like a almost like a bow and arrow like archery range that is completely in disarray. There is like tables, there is chairs, there is areas of like almost like a banquet station, but they are all in horrendous repair. Some of them look like more recent than others. Some things like have like sheets of metal like pried on them, and Ordell wasn't fully paying attention. And as he steps forward, he takes like a little tinderbox from his side and lights on a pole, and there's a string of lights that is covered in like a water and oil, and as it illuminates across, these sparks fly, and these little jars full of wax and candles like illuminate, and it's basically like a line of twinkling lights that illuminate what looks like almost like a fairground where no one is. It's nice, it's cute, but at the same time it is muddy, it is horrible smelling, there's nothing here, and it's a little cryptic and haunting. There's like almost like probably like there's a hand cranked like merry-go-round where like adults would like push as their kids ride on them. It is in horrible disrepair, but it looks to be like as if it's been completely walled off, and the one entrance is through where Ordell's tent is.
As Ordell moves through the tent, there's a small little music box on the side that would have once been made to hold rings that he just flips up. It's very quiet, but it does play a small tune on one of those turning metal styles that bing, 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 as he's out there, that kind of repeats itself for some time. XC, you look down at it, and this is a much more primitive form of yourself, but still, you recognize good craftsmanship when you see it. This thing will last on its own for quite some time. Nice spring steel, a little bit of magic to keep it going evermore. It's good make. What he has here is in a large state of disrepair, not too far off from yourself, but good items that are out here.
Nice.
Let me show you, right? This ring, for example. What can you do, Ash? Is there anything special about it? It's beautiful, but if you'd like to know more. And I hand the ring over to my friend to have a look at.
I don't want to let off that I know it's magical, but I will start to fiddle with it and kind of twirl it between my fingers and like roll it around, kind of put it on enough.
Oh, you put it on? Cool.
Wait,
As
yeah,
Ashrin,
my habit. Yep, yeah, habit. Mhm.
since you are the one to put it on, you take a look at this ring with a large emerald on the front of it, rectangular in shape. This is almost like costume jewelry where the emerald is so large, but it seems to be quite valuable in and itself. And as you look at it, without your detect magic ability, you would have probably been able to notice it had some innate magical properties on its own. It has a small glow to the inside of the emerald. As you slip it on your finger, you're trying to be very nonchalant about it as you say, yeah, of course. I mean, I could tell you whatever you want to know about this puppy right here. And as you slip it on, suddenly, Ordell, Winter, XC, Ashrin, your vision is filled with a blinding flash of emerald green. As I need everybody to make me a strength saving throw.
Whoops.
22.
3.
Weirdly enough, those are my thing.
19 plus 0.
19.
19.
Ashrin?
Somehow they're not my thing.
Natural one of the first one of the season. Let's go!
Oh, first one of the... Yeah!
We're so amazing.
Yeah!
Look at how good we are. We're such
All right.
an asset to you.
Fine,
was gonna
Critical
say-
Role's back on the map. We'll let them keep doing their thing, I guess.
Because I rolled so high, can I defend someone potentially if they're getting knocked back?
I would say if you would have been by the ladies, possibly, but you're next to XC a little further away, and both of you don't actually feel the huge brunt of this. It's just kind of a light that comes up for you. But a small blast of force sends Ashrin and Winter knocked to their feet on the ground. And as you kind of regain your vision, looking back up, there's now a figure standing where Ashrin and Winter were. A skeletal frame that I think would be best described by Drew.
So what you would see is it's almost hunched over. It's this really lanky skeleton faced away from you at the moment, with a tail that's flicking like a pissed off cat. On the tip of the tail, there's this golden crescent moon it looks super sharp, as well as these long ornate horns that double up in the front, covered in a tarnished gold. The robes look like at one point in time they used to be very regal and beautiful, and now they're just tattered and old. You see this green aura around, with 3 little floating green orbs and a skeletal imp that's crawling all around this skeletal creature. As she stands there, you can almost start to hear like soft sobbing noise of
Is that the sobbing noise?
Ruckus. We finally died. Look at it. Oh, we've made it to the Hell's Ruckus. Turning around to see the group. Excuse me. What level of hell are we on? Because a rather strange looking devil, aren't you? And starts prodding and poking.
As Emma looks down at... Who are you looking to personally?
It most likely would be Ashrin, as she's the one that opened the ring.
As Ashrin, you feel almost a pull towards Ashrin as you look down at her and begin to poke your finger in her face. Let's go ahead and put up the art for Emma so that everybody can know finally what all of the art looks like. However, not only do we have Jakey Boy's amazing art, we have 2 other pieces of art because Drew is an absolute commission whore who needs a billion commissions from everybody. So not only does Emma have art from Jakey, it also has art from Red Drawn Art and Commodiris. And did I say those correctly, Drew?
I believe so.
Emma has some amazing art already ready for them so you can see them in their full glory. So well done
Such a
for all
commission whore.
of the artists. You
You
absolutely
don't even know
are.
because I already have 3 other people, so bite me.
God.
So we've only seen half. We'll see more as we go. But Emma points the finger towards you, Asterion, as you and Winter lay on your back. Ordell and XC standing maybe about 15 feet away, seeing this skeletal creature with a small, impish pet swirling around the bones.
As
oh.
the creature appears, my gun's gonna flick back into position, and I put my right arm in front of Ordell, face start lifting the rifle towards this unbeknownst being.
Ordell looks down at the Warforged that's like at his shoulder, just like, oh, look, confused, but also back at this.
I'm sorry. It looks like you're the one that's coming from a ring of hell. And I take the ring and I drop it into Emma's hand.
I don't extend hands, nothing. The ring is just gonna fall. And as it does, before it hits the ground, Mage Hand is gonna pick it back up and put it back in her hand. I believe you're mistaken. This is your ring now, and you've set me free. And so I suppose, what year is it? Do tell, do tell, do tell.
4150.
Rock is 800 years. So, I do believe I owe you a semblance of gratitude. Hello.
No, you owe me nothing. It was selfish, and here, this is yours.
Absolutely sorry, but I can't take it.
I'm gonna walk over to Ordell, kind of where Exie is his little bouncer, and I'm just gonna. I apologize. Here, this is yours.
As
Look over at the cackling little demon.
No. You picked up the ring. It's your responsibility.
It is true. As you may look back to Emma, and strangely enough, composure is back, and the imp is now gone. Just
Yeah, you're definitely from a ring of hell. Are you going to kill any of us?
I hadn't planned on it.
Winter, I need you to roll either an Arcana or a History, whichever is higher for you.
30 something.
They're the same. They're the same.
Ooh, no choice.
26.
Do you roll Arcana
26.
or History for my descriptor?
Probably Arcana, because it just that shit was magic.
You're familiar
And she's
with necromantic
she's
magics.
just like in awe. Like
yeah.
she's like looking at this thing in front of her, and it's like the thing from Nightmares, and she has this like grin that has like spread across her face, and she's kind of like almost reaching out to want to touch, but not quite.
As Winter, you still haven't quite got to your feet. You really want to touch her leg just to feel. You're familiar with necromantic magics. This doesn't seem to be that. Most necromantic magics need a corpse to reanimate, but there was nothing here before. So whatever magics came from this ring, this creature of sorts was in there at some point, sealed away within the ring. This was not a corpse reanimated. This seems to be more of an unwilling. There's few still in the world outside of Old Korra that you might have seen, but mostly through books that you've read. This is not a animated corpse. This is a full living being.
You're just very special. And she like doesn't even have time to get up, but kind of scurries towards it, almost like extends her hand like she's going up to like, not that you're an animal, but to an animal, to be like, show that I'm showing kindness before I touch, and wait to see how that reaction is met.
So I assume there's somewhere that there's like larger little areas to like sit in this little hut, I'd imagine, or in this just general area.
We're outdoors right now. Yeah, it's like a full, like almost like fairground that's just like like rust over. So there's like tables, like park benches and things. Like almost think like a medieval, like those medieval like roleplay fairs and things people go to. That, but like as if most of it is replaced with metal and looks like moldy mulch ground. It's not. It smells terrible here.
I'm so before Emma reacts over to Winter, she's just gonna kind of recline back, and as she does, she gives a wave of her hand, and you just see this green energy spiral around her as a throne of literal bones forms underneath her, and she takes a seat on it and relaxes and holds out her hand towards Winter.
Winter's gonna take her hand and she's gonna kiss it and
Very nice to
say,
meet you.
"And unwilling? Truly?"
Well, if you can say so, I suppose. Ghoulcrest, they. Yes, short answer.
You are divine.
Thank you. I'd rather think so myself too.
You have some very, very, very special and exciting artifacts here. And she turns to look at Orville. See? I told you that we could be of an asset to you.
Ordell looks at currently the awakened XC, and then over to now the throne of bones with like the unwilling sitting in it.
These are magical parlor tricks. This doesn't help me. But it's interesting, at least.
You'll let
I
us
look
help
up.
you then.
Ordell's gonna walk up to Winter and like drop to one knee so he's at like eye level, but not really.
Why do you come here often? I've seen you before. Not this one,
He points at Asterion.
but you.
I like to study, and you have a vast array of things that deserve to be studied. It's beautiful here.
Ordell just kind of like almost like spaces out for a second and then shakes his head.
If you each wish to help,
And he stands up.
that structure over there,
And he points at the merry-go-round that was pointed out prior.
the seats on it, most of them have decayed. There is scrap leathers and pieces here. Take them from whatever pile and fasten them on properly. If you actually want to help, you can also leave. Neither will.
So Adele finishes saying that. You hear a voice in the background. Threat assessment, completely unknown. Moves a little bit and then retracts and just stands there.
XC, right? That is your name.
That is correct.
You will accompany me. There are heavier things to carry.
And Ordell's going to go to like the northmost part of the junkyard and he's going to start moving like actual beams to heavier things with XC.
As we arrive, unable to lift, too heavy.
Then you will spot me so I do not fall.
Confirmed. I place my gun back into my back and I spot him.
As XC basically makes sure Ordell doesn't fall. This is a big task. Ordell is quite large and quite heavy. Winter, Asher, and Emma, you're in this small little area, this small, almost circus-like performance. What are you all doing during this time as you see Ordell and XC begin to start repairing things within this junkyard, you're given the option to help or leave. What are the three of you doing?
Really quickly, do we know Emma's name as PCs? We don't, right?
Not,
We
you haven't
just
asked
know.
yet.
All right,
No.
all right, all right. Bone Queen. You're not gonna kill us?
As I said, I have no plans to.
Okay. Well, what's the extent of the favor that you can provide?
Like I said, I suppose I use some semblance of gratitude. I've been trapped in that ring now for roughly 800 years, and softly lonesome in there, but you've set me free. So as she like picks up a little piece of like rusted bolt and just tosses it behind her, I'm at your service, Emma. Or should I say Emerald Ghoulcrest? Hello, welcome.
Emma, that's a very pretty name. One favor per year you were stuck in there?
So be it.
Joking. That's ridiculous. I will keep it in mind though, because I'm looking for something and you might be of assistance.
Yes, indeed.
Um,
Do tell me though, why is that devil staring at me still? Pointing over to Winter.
do
It's an
you
odd one.
know
It doesn't have any horns.
what devils
Or do
even look
you?
like? For the
Wait,
last time, we're not in hell.
then where is it that we are?
I was
The land of Ludrith,
the land of Ludrith.
just outside Lichtenford.
Awfully boring, darling. We're in the material plane.
As she sits there, you just see the skeletal imp just pop back up over her shoulder and just staring back. This is clearly the hells. This land is barren. This is not Lutra.
You know what's happened in the past 800 years?
Oh, darling, no. No, I do not.
The hood that was on Asheron's head. And she like doesn't hold it as tight. She's like, okay. There is a lot that you should catch up on. Might I suggest us catching up while we are aiding General Ordell?
As you say that, you can watch as the imp disappears again. And oh, fine then. Let's go on. And Emma stands up. The bone throne disappears.
Asheron, you stick the ring inside one of your pockets. Emma, Winter, Asheron, you've offered to help. In what way are you helping fix this disrepaired scrap heap? How can you use your powers and abilities? Ordell is moving quite large things, and XC is making sure that Ordell does not fall, acting like a mechanical moving kickstand. What are the three of you doing?
I've been called worse.
Emma. Asheron, there we go. What are you doing?
Sorry, so detect magic is still 10 minutes, right? Could I like pick out the useful things out and push things around?
Absolutely. There's a few pieces in here, most of them magically protected against things like rust or magically enhanced to just be long-lasting items. Not much of them in the traditional sense of a magic item. You're not going to find a wand of fireball in here or anything like that. But there are some pieces that are protected against long use within here. Some what appear to be spear shafts that are pristine, made of some combination of iron and platinum that shine like chrome in the daylight. You begin to use some of those and kind of pull them out of the scrap heap, trying to make the area just look a little bit better and try and organize some of the stuff. You're mostly focused on organization, thinking if you're going to help here for any length of time, it's probably good to get organized. Emma, what are you doing?
So currently, Emma is actually going to walk over to XC as XC is just like kind of standing there spotting and just kind of squats down for a moment and just sticks out her finger and just starts casting mending on some broken wires and things like that. Just looking over, just with a completely unenthused, well, I mean, skeleton face, but still, the expression there would be completely unenthused, just connecting wires.
Are you an authorized Lordell medic?
Medic, yes, but probably not authorized for you.
Only authorized Lordell medics allowed to perform.
Okay, I'm authorized. And continuing.
Adding to database, please state your name and rank.
Emerald Ghoulcrest. Medic.
XC, go
Emerald
ahead and roll me a
Ghoulcrest.
history check.
For sure. Well, that's a 3 + 1. That's a 4.
You have never heard of the name Ghoulcrest, so Emma Ghoulcrest it is.
When Emma
Affirmative.
says like rank medic, Ordell mumbles under his breath,
Rank pain in my ass.
as he continues moving things around.
Can I see if I heard that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception.
My perception's high. Oh, 25.
25, you
Confirmed.
absolutely heard.
Secondary rank, pain in my ass.
Ordell stands up a little straighter, just like, oh. But then looks at Emma and is like, what are you gonna do about it? And keeps like going.
Winter, what are you doing during this time?
Winter's gonna kind of keep like side glancing over at her new amazing friends that she never thought was possible, and kind of kneel next to Ash and like pretend to be doing things but really kind of just be moving one thing from another. Kind of like when you are too busy to eat and you just move things around with your fork, just like moving things and being like, this went like really well. Like, did you think this was gonna go this well?
No. And to be completely honest, no. This is ridiculous. Hey, but we kind of have like a new assistant now, so that's kind of cool.
I mean, you know what she is, right?
No?
She's like, you have to have heard of them before. She's an unwilling.
Ashrin, go ahead and roll me a history check. As Ashrin rolls the history check, Lana, if you want to go ahead and do the first giveaway. Normally, we're not going to interrupt gameplay for giveaways in the middle anymore, but this is the first night. We got 4 giveaways to do. So go ahead and enter that giveaway, Lana, so that Jakey can give somebody a personalized headshot of their character, since we had all these amazing headshots of the characters. So just very excited to see who wins that giveaway. So very excited for that. We're just going to continue on. Congratulations to the winter, or to the winner, not the winter, but also congrats to you. Why not? We're going to play on. We'll say congrats in the chat, but we're just going to keep going with it since this is right in the middle of playing. So Lana, if you want to go ahead and do the giveaway stuff, we would much appreciate it, which immediately is going to be followed by another dice giveaway. So awesome. Continue from there. Ashrin, what was your history roll?
Very on point with how she was raised. She rolled a 6.
6. You have not heard of the unwilling. Winter, to you, why not explain? Why not explain the beauty of the unwilling race, one that you so almost wish you could have been?
What kind of specifics would I know? I'm guessing that I have done
With your
extensive
26 that you got
research.
before, unwilling, and for those who also don't know, there was a war, what would have been 900-ish years ago from this time period, in which all of the old Forgotten Realms-esque gods have since died through one god of undeath, Anrock, who took the form of a wolf and through one big howl killed all of the old gods. In doing so, his followers resurrected undead, namely people like Emma, to do their fighting in a great war. But when Anrock was finally defeated, his connection that allowed them to do that faded, and now there were just a bunch of risen undead that did not go back in the ground but suddenly had full sentience. Some of them turned into ghouls and skeletons that roam the land and cause a lot of problems. But some of them were fine with their new existence. People possibly, like Emma. Emma being trapped in there for 800 years was at least around for 100 years before being trapped in that ring. But they were once tools from an undead army, but are now as sentient as you or I. Well, at least you.
You remember the war, right? Like not the last war, but like the Great War, the Great,
Yeah.
the undead army. It's like I said, it's the thing of nightmares. There's like she must be the only unwilling within, I don't know, the only one I've ever known about in this area.
Well, maybe she was a soldier too.
Do we know would we know what connection the ring has with
That seems to
how
be
she would have been in the
completely
ring?
unrelated from your Arcana check. Uh-oh,
Oh, no.
bye someone. Oh, bye,
Bye,
Jakey.
Jakey.
Oh, Daddy-o.
Bye,
He
Jakey.
was just like done with these weirdos.
He's like, whatever. That's not the kind of undead I am. She's not talking about me.
All right, disconnected several times.
You're good.
she is the kind of things that I aspire to be able to do not even touch the magic that created her.
It's almost like we were meant to maybe meet Emma today.
Maybe we really are being touched by the hells.
In the best way possible, I think.
I mean, is there a bad way to be touched by the hells?
No.
As Asterion says no, a day's labor begins for all of you. Emma repairing Exie and some of the other things that you can find around there. Exie, your arm was a bit loose, but now that there's actual wires connecting it once again, you can move the fingers that you weren't able to move previously. You thought they were just going to be stuck there. Oh, good. You got full use of those. Fantastic. You were going to have to spend weeks trying to fix that. Well done. As Winter, you basically make yourself look busy for quite some time, though this doesn't go unnoticed by Ordell, who knows all of these piles as she just shuffles one thing to another, but she's trying to help. That's at least something. Asherin, you actually do kind of spruce up the places. Ordell, you move some of the larger things. Some of you are all quite impressed as Ordell seems to be picking up things large enough for 5 men to be carrying on his own, though his structure does make it seem like that might be something that he's able to do. As night begins to fall, it's starting to get kind of cold outside. Possibly a need for a fire might arise soon for some of you, though probably not for Emma or XC. But you decide to settle down and grab some food for those of you who need it for a period. Brie is so method. She's just ready to go. She knows my thoughts before I do. As one of you creates a small fire in the inside of this almost circus-like ring that you have here. Everyone takes a seat, getting ready to either eat or rest from the day's work that you've done. You've probably been working for maybe 6 or 7 hours at this point. Ordell, your muscles are strained and you're gonna need to stretch before you go to sleep, or else that's gonna really hurt. You crick your neck a little bit further than should be possible, but still feels good when you do so. Ashton and Winter have some of your own food in a bag ready to go, as Emma and Exie don't really need to eat. You're more sitting out of polite social structure here.
I also don't eat, but Ordell does. Seeing the two of them like help and knowing like the other two can't eat, Ordell goes in like his little tent and he pulls out like this small like parchment bundle and he places it between the two of them and like wordlessly just goes and sits down, and inside the parchment bundle is like, it looks to be like homemade like fruit jerky of like different kinds. It's like probably the few things like nice that Ordell finds he like makes and dries himself. These look to be like dried pieces of like probably like melon or something soaked in like molasses, so it's this very like almost like taffy like jerky. But Ordell just goes back to like Yeah, I think Ordell would just like have like a bottle of wine or something, but he's like sitting away from like the fireplace, just kind of watching everybody. I think Ordell's still like, something's fishy.
Can I have Emma sitting in front of XC, just staring blank eye to blank eye?
Oh, depends if you're going to follow me for a second. Ryan, is there I guess, a wall-like piece somewhere that's slightly further out from everyone else?
Yeah, absolutely. There's basically what looks to be almost like sheet metal that would have been used to reinforce some walls, dwarvish sheet metal that kind of is right up against one of the fences behind a junk pile there. If you'd like to go over there, you can. And Emma, you may also be following. It's up to you two.
And I can see everyone from that location.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I will walk over to there, put my back against it. Before I do, pull out my gun and initiating Overwatch procedure, and then just sit down and kind of look like I've powered down,
Yeah, I'm going over.
but I can still see what's going on.
I heard
Stopping right
Overwatch
in front.
procedure, and all I can picture in my head is some guy in the distance calling all Overwatch units. Sorry,
As-
I had to.
As Widowmaker sits there in Overwatch procedure, Emma walks over and
I
says,
know, man,
"It's
I know."
noon." Before Emma would like to speak to Exie, as you walk over and saunter next to this robotic figure that seems to be swiveling almost on a turret, back and forth, observing the land.
Look at us, relics of a era bygone.
Oh, I can assist. I can fill you into up to 200 years ago.
I knew Warforge much older than you, but that's all right. Newer. Looks like you still see things too.
I do not see through you, though. You are not made of glass. Please move to the side.
Emma turns to look at the rest of the group and turns back around. Huh. It's just gonna stand there for a moment.
As I start doing my sweep, the gun itself, with the arm, can extend to roughly about 5-6 foot. So if you're within that range, the gun's going to come around and sort of casually start pushing you aside as it turns around.
Like, I just imagine one of those like the little water sprinkler things. Just like move out of my way.
Just like this awkward comical out of the way.
It slowly pushes you off to the side. Emma,
I'll saunter back to the group.
as Emma walks back over, XC, since you are in Overwatch mode, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Also, that was the perfect in-game "you make a better door than a window" joke.
Oh, that got me so good. I like took me a second, and then when it hit, I was like, "Oh, that's very good."
So my perception's at 22 at the moment.
22 is your roll?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Uh,
As you all converse, sit either eating or just observing others, Emma moves back over to a nearby chair, rejoins by the fire. Doesn't need it, but just wants to be able to converse with everyone. Ordell, this is the first time you've had company at night at your house in a long time. I wouldn't say this is the first time you've invited company, but they are here with you this night. As you sit there looking around, normally you like to just sit, enjoy the music, enjoy the quiet, hearing some of the birds, but it is nice. It might be annoying. I'm not entirely sure what it's like having these folks around, but it's different. And you're happy to share your jerky with them at least. XC, you hear a loud snap of a branch outside the fence, seemingly coming from behind you, as you immediately, your head snaps and turns. You can't see behind the fence as a large piece of metal there, but you could possibly look over it if you'd like to.
I will stand up to full length and look over it if I can.
As XC, you look over the fence, and as you do so, you are met with a metallic glove in your face. As a shock jolts through your body, seemingly anticipating you to look over the fence as you fall to the ground behind this scrap heap. What's everybody's passive perception?
14.
14?
14.
Oh.
12.
Oh. Brie, come on.
17.
17. Okay. As
Passive investigation, on the other hand.
Winter continues to gnaw at some of the jerky given by Ordell, the other three, your heads kind of turn to the side as you hear a thud coming from behind the scrap heap where XC was. You don't see him, but you just hear a poof, as if something fell into the dirt.
Stay here.
I'm gonna grab my maul. Now that like they can see it, Ordell has almost like those like large Aztec club swords. It is like a long handle covered in scrap metal that like stretches out into like a giant oar that has a rounded head at the top. It is covered in bits of metal, kind of like the cobble crushers from like Breath of the Wild. Just this huge club thing that Ordell like swings onto his shoulder. And Ordell's gonna walk over because XE doesn't seem like someone who would just fall over for no reason.
As Ordell walks over, you can see it a bit before anybody else would have been able to had they walked over, just because of your height. But as you round the corner of the scrap heap, there seems to be someone in a trench coat leaned over XC's body, wrapping twine and rope around their hands. They
I
don't seem to have
suggest
noticed
you
him.
run.
It turns and looks at you. There's goggles seeming to be made out of junk very much like your own that seem to glow in the night. It reaches for something in its chest piece before pulling out a small device.
I think seeing them grab something, Ordell's gonna jump the fence and
You're on the same side fence as it. You're now just kind of
oh, we
standing there.
are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna run at them full speed. If they're grabbing something, Ordell's gonna he's gonna go fist first before he goes head swing. But yeah, he's not gonna wait if they're grabbing something.
Do you swing to hit?
Yep.
Okay. You rush up to this human, seems to be in size, though you can't necessarily tell. It could be an elf, could be anything of that general size as the hood obscures their vision. Go ahead and roll me to hit.
22 for unarmed strike.
22. Roll me damage real quick.
Just for my unarmed. That is a 5, but I'm also gonna try and grapple them and pin them down as part of my tavern brawler.
Okay. You don't actually need to grapple them. This one seems to be more gadget oriented rather than healthy and able to take a hit. As it looks toward you, this is a small version of it. As you smack into them, their goggles go flying, and you can see a very young face that you hit here. You didn't kill them, but they are knocked out cold. As that does happen, though, the thing in their hand drops and falls to the ground, and gas begins to pour out of it. As they drop to the ground, you hear several other things flying over, and a pepper of small grenades filled with gas begin filling the area in which you all live. Asterion, Emma, Winter, you now all see as this noxious fume lands nearby you all in the fire. One of them landing nearby the fireplace, the gas actually lights on fire, and this is now a swirling, almost like firecracker in the dirt as the rest begin to fill the area around you. Ordell, the last thing you see before the gas fills your nose is you hold your hand on your weapon, trying to stand up for a moment as this fills your nose. You see several other people in similar attire jumping over your fence and into your land. As Winter, Asterion, Emma, you all now see green lights like eyes staring at you from the countryside as the fire reflects off of their goggles. And that's the last thing you all see. Good.
Before that goes to happen, I would like to be real nice, and I cast Shield of Faith on my new friend Asterion, as I owe her some semblance of gratitude and don't want her to die, granting you a +2 on your AC. And as I do that, I look like, and disappear back into the ring.
Asherin, you feel protected for a moment as you look over at the undead figure walk over towards you and put a hand on you. But then you see her slip into a magical green aura into your pocket as anger covers your face. As that is actually the last thing that you see. As we return back to where you all find yourselves bound and gagged inside a wagon. It is dark. You can hear the wheels moving against the hard floor around you. Before the wagon suddenly stops. All of you are awake at this point. XC, you're kind of thrown in a bundle in the corner, not even on a seat here within the wagon, as Ordell seems to take up too much of one side of this hooded wagon on his own. What you thought to be the night was just thick covering, as a man opens up the back part of the wagon, as it seems to be very early morning. If there was full sun out, you might have noticed it, but it is early, as a bit of the sunrise light hits you all now, kind of hurts you as you pull your bound hands up to stop the light from hitting your eye. The man looks at you all before seemingly closing the tent, and you can hear just a muffle of words as he's discussing something with somebody outside of the wagon. XC, you are awake and have been for a bit of time, but your restraints have kept you from kind of changing your shape to just easily remove yourself out of this. Whoever it is familiar with Warforged anatomy. Ordell, Winter, Asherin, XC, not Emma, find yourself in this wagon alone, the four of you. You can hear the voices outside, but not what they're saying. They're a bit far away. What are you all doing?
I want to take a look around and see if I recognize who these people are, these creatures, and
you can't see anything outside of the
I
wagon
know-
right now. You just see Asherin, Ordell, Winter, XC. You could attempt. You could just easily go up and move the cloth out of the way if that's something that you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to sneak up and kind of quietly move the cloth.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth
we'll
check.
Oh. 12?
12. Okay. Ordell, Asherin, XC, you all see Winter slide over. It's just your feet and hands bound. You can still move, so it's easy for you to just kind of push yourself onto the seat a little bit as you move this heavy cloth covering. When you do so, you see a large wall made out of stone that seems to span ever onward, maybe about 30, 40 feet tall. You've been to this wall before, just on a more tourist-type destination, since it is nearby Lichenford. You recognize it, and you recognize the wagon that you're in and the people around you, and this is not good at all. You are at the border from Ludrith and Old Cora. That's why you smell the sulfur. That's why everything smells dead and desolate here. The grass barely grows even on this side of the border wall. But as you move open the kind of flap here, you see there are two humans standing and talking with each other. All of them wearing garb like you saw rush you in the camp there, kind of thick, dark green, made to blend into the scenery, into the woods nearby, cloaks and outfits that seem to be talking to each other with their hoods off. Most of them, the two of them bald, but one of them with a long, almost best described as like a Viking-like beard that's braided that goes down well past his belly button. As they look over, kind of looks at you before whispering something to the other man. For the one with the long blonde beard comes and walks over towards the wagon. You can close the flap or you can sit there and wait. It's up to you.
I'll just let the flap drop and kind of lean back.
Ashrin, Ordell, Exie, you see Winter kind of return from her view outside the door.
Ordell's sitting now at the back, like kind of uprighted himself, because I feel like he has the upper body strength to just kind of do that. He's not against his restraints, but if he had heat vision, Ashrin and Winter's heads would blow up. He looks furious right now. I think the vibe is that Ordell is putting, I let 2 people here and suddenly my place got raided. So Ordell looks very angry right now.
Ignoring Ordell's fiery gaze, I'll look to Winter and just ask, so what do you see?
There are men out there, and we're at the wall. I guess we got here a little faster, Ash, than we were expecting. Yeah, I don't think it's great.
Not ready.
Operation parameters are limited.
As the flaps to the wagon are opened and the man with the long beard stands before you, looks and says, "Right, you." He waves his finger over to Winter, who was looking outside. Do you slide back over to him?
Yes, and I kind of look up through my spidery eyelashes. Yes, mister?
Oh, and dead sympathizers. You got one with you here? You got an old warforge. And don't tell me that you ain't. I see your drab, I see your clothes, I see you with a crimson. What were you doing with Big Blue there?
He points over to Ordell.
Trespassing.
Passing, stopping, eating at his camp, fixing up his belongings. I heard you,
As he points back to Winter,
in the inn, bragging, talking about wanting to see the other side of the wall yourself, wanting to bring some dead to look at and sketch. I think you found one. I think you brought this one back over the wall. Can't be having none of that. We're sending you back over the wall. You're staying there this time.
I think you might have misheard. There's a lot of cute, gray-skinned, black-haired girls around here. She would never do that.
Oh, really?
as he reaches down. Winter, you recognize that he has your spell book in his hand as he flips through a few pages.
As soon as he starts touching my spell book, like how much am I able to move my hands?
Your hands and feet are bound, but you'd be able to move them as long as they stay together, as if you were like cuffed.
I start to like kind of move my hands, and like a burst of green energy comes out, and I look at him no longer with doe eyes, but with like a fierce anger, and say, "It's not nice to touch things that don't belong to you." And I cast Cause Fear.
What level spell is that?
Let's go with
Not a cantrip is what I'm asking, correct?
No.
Then you're not going to be able to cast it without your spell book.
I have an arcane focus.
You still need
But
to have
yeah,
a
he's
book. No.
Fuck you, you're touching my spell book, bitch.
You reach up and begin to form the energy to cast the spell Which cause fear, what type of magic is that? Is that alteration, enhancement?
I
I
believe
want to
that
say it's
it is
enchantment.
It's necromancy.
That's what I was hoping that it wasn't for you. But
necromancy.
as
No, it's definitely necromancy.
Yep,
as the
first level
green
necromancy.
flits to the tip of your fingers, seemingly self-righteously, he holds the book back a little further away, closing its pages. The green flits away as he goes, "Thought so," as he grabs you by the neck in like a small hold and throws you outside the cart, and then grabs Ashrin by the rope around her hands as well and begins pulling her off and down.
I try and kick him as he moves me. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
kick my feet.
Roll the hit. Why not?
Don't think it can like even do anything.
Do you have a minus to strength?
No, I can. This is unusual for me as a character.
Winner's buff.
That's 18 to kick him.
18 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll a d4, and you're basically doing a d2. Unless you have a d2. We are dice makers who do have that kind of stuff.
Would you look at
Hold
that?
on.
You look at my dicey encounters on. Look at that.
I have my dice
we all have
encounters.
dicey encounters. Dice.
Wow.
Get yours
except for
today.
Brie.
No, I have it on my desk somewhere. I just have
Oh
everything else in
wow,
the
Brie
world
doesn't
on
have.
YouTube.
She's not in the cool club.
Wow.
Stop! I'll roll
Breaking
my
my
dice.
heart, Brie. Breaking my heart.
Mine are on my shelf of the best dice I've got.
Wow,
I
way
don't-
to suck up.
I
I don't know if
have my
Alex even
full
has them.
set here without
It's a
my
great
D2.
guitar pick.
Very thick,
I
never
will
gonna
roll-
break.
I will roll my dicey encounter D4 though,
It's less cool, but
and then be
okay.
annoyed that I think Max stole the D2. 1.
1.
That's fair. It's a cool one.
What's your strength score?
I get it's 0.
Okay,
But
so
I have 1. Yeah.
you do kick him,
Bludgeoning.
and you kind of hit him in the shin. He's wearing thick boots, but it does hurt. You're not wearing anything light as you hit him as he goes, "Gah!" As he does kick you back as you're now laying on the ground. See, this is what it's like to have a D2. It's so easy. Look at that. Oh, a 2.
Oh, shut up, Brian.
As you take 4 points of damage as he kicks you right on the butt cheek. It doesn't feel good at all. It's going to be bruised. It's going to be no fun to sit down on for a few days. As he just kind of, before he reaches, that's when he grabs Ashrin by the little ropey cuffs and pulls you out of the wagon. He doesn't throw you on the ground like he does Winter Ashrin, but does pull you out of the wagon. As he does so, Ashrin, you're now looking around and able to see what Winter sees. Being that you're outside of the wagon, you can see you are not the only people here. There's probably about 30 or 40 people at this wall. You seem to be right at the gateway that leads you into Old Cora. Large, cold-rolled iron-banded bars go across this portcullis here that leads out into Old Cora. The sun is beginning to rise, many of them all in that similar garb from those that assaulted you at night here. They seem to be a highly specialized group that works here at the wall. Ordell, he looks into you. He doesn't try and pull your wrist straps to get you out, but he does go into the wagon and grab both hands XC as if you were like a piece of metal where he's holding the 2 handles that would allow you to get out of the cart, and throws you out into the mud that splats on the ground. So he looks up at you, Ordell. You can see a bit of, "Please don't make me do this," kind of in his eyes as he says, "Get out the wagon. Don't make me ask twice," before he hops down out of the wagon off of the final step.
Ordell's feet are bound, right?
Yeah.
Can I roll a strength to see if I can just snap them and start to walk out of the wagon?
Sure.
That's very good. Is it athletics or just flat strength?
We'll do flat strength for this.
That's a 21.
As he says, Don't make me ask twice. He steps out of the wagon, holding the flap up for you to get out. Just kind of sitting there with your hands still bound. You just pull your legs apart as the twine snaps as you stand up, hands still bound. Are you trying to make a run for it, or more just calmly kind of letting him know you could get out of these as you walk out of the
Oh yeah, like Ordell is very calm but very angry and just like marches forward out of it and jumps down. And I think because my hands are still bound, I'm going to like pick up XC the best of my ability and put XC on my shoulder. Even though I'm still bound, like just like kind of balancing XC
Gotcha.
as much as my ability, because he's basically hog-tied in a bowling pin right now.
As you pick up XC, making it a little easier, almost like a backpack or a rucksack over your shoulder.
C-3PO! I'm Chewbacca!
You're Blue Baka.
Yeah!
EP134-XC. What is this?
XC3PO. God. Right. As you're pulled over
Amazing.
like a rucksack, he doesn't stop you or attempt to rebind your legs. He just kind of before he gets down to where Winter is and picks her up by the arm to get you standing back on your feet there. He does, now that you're out, take a small dagger. He looks towards you and points it up at you, Winter, and says, "Don't be trying nothing." Before he reaches down and undoes the ropes that are binding your feet, as well as Ashrin undoes your feet and comes over and undoes the feet of XC. Again, seems to have some knowledge of Warforged, but does not undo your hands, XC.
I undo my hands.
Do you?
Yep.
That is a bigger concern for him. So go ahead and roll me another strength check.
17 total.
17. These are tightly bound. They were aware that you were going to be a big guy. These are kind of knotted over pretty heavily. You pull against them and you can feel it kind of stretching against your wrist. You could pull them open if you really wanted to, but it might be best to save it for an opportune moment.
I think for Ordell, like he's not trying to threaten. I think like Ordell is completely complicit, just very like angry right now. So like he's gonna break them so that he can brace like XC as much as he can. But Ordell has made it clear like he is completely resigning himself. Like he's not fighting these guys. He's just whatever they're doing around him. Ordell kind of stands. Because I think this isn't Ordell's first time dealing with someone who doesn't like undead.
Then I'd say you can break them, but in doing so, the physical force needed to exert it, it does hurt your wrist quite a bit. You're going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage just from the pressure.
No, what'll I do?
He does take his dagger and immediately pull it to his side, as a few of the other people come over grabbing crossbows, seeming to aim them up towards you. The crossbows themselves seem to have some mechanism that you're unfamiliar with on the ends of these crossbows, as you kind of hold your hands over, just picking XC up under one arm like a duffel bag that you're needing.
Can I tell what these crossbows are?
Actually, you've definitely seen them before, but if you want to go ahead and roll me a, let's say, since you can see them, let's have you roll me a general wisdom or intelligence, whichever's higher for you.
Definitely wisdom for me.
Okay.
So that's a 15.
15. They look to have some sort of device that allows them to throw nets on the end of them.
Okay. Now to figure out the wording I can use. Headspace. Warning. Weapons seem viable to disrupt.
I look to the guy who's holding his dagger and his weapons.
I am not looking for a fight. You have already taken my home. I am complying.
At this point in time, can I come out of the ring?
Oh, God.
If you'd like to.
I will have a book in my hand and nomming on an apple as I just...
As
well,
you say,
we're necromancers now.
As you do the I am complying, he seems to kind of withdraw for a little bit, looking over at his friends. He holds up his hand as if he's about to wave them to stop, when suddenly, out of the ring, Asterion, you can kind of feel it move in your pocket. Suddenly, Emma stands there holding an apple in a book in her hand. As she looks over, Emma, you are immediately greeted by 3 large nets. I need you to roll me a deck save if you want to avoid them.
Yeah, why not?
3 of them, please.
When she pops out, I just go, "Welcome back, asshole. Do you even need to eat?"
Amazing.
So Dex, let's see, +2, so that's a 16. All right, that's +2, so 19. Hey, and a 21.
I don't know if it's
progressively better.
fortunate for you or not, as
I don't know, but I'm just trying to enjoy my book. Just
says, "Do you even need to eat?" As suddenly Emma looks and dodges quickly as these nets fly both at her feet as you jump up over them. One of them, they're meant to catch larger fleshed creatures. Your arm catches through, but you quickly just kind of pull it out with no real issues at all, as you kind of throw your book up and grab it back, holding your apple, and take your first bite at it kind of angrily at them. But instead, anything you're doing during that time?
I was just trying to read my book here.
As
It's about cheese.
Then yeah, if you say I was just trying to, you're gonna be met with 3 tackles.
Okay. That's fair.
2 human women with very, very tight braids and a dwarvish man rushes over and tackle you to the ground. You can roll 3 opposing strength checks if you'd like to fend them off.
No,
Well,
I'm gonna be so caught off guard because I'm just trying to read my book about cheese and enjoying this illusory apple.
As you say, I was trying to rig as the first woman gets a good shoulder check into you, knocking you straight to the ground. It's kind of a bludgeoning thing. It definitely doesn't feel good as you're done so, as the other 2 rush over, stepping on your wrists, causing your apple to fall and roll out of your hand as they kick the book away instinctually from your other hand. As one of them, the kind of big guy that was talking to Ordell, looks over and rushes over and grabs the book before he kind of throws it at you angrily. It's really about she'd leave him.
Edward Stilton, the author, would not be pleased with you throwing his book.
I look over at Exy.
Can you remind me the rank of that individual?
And he's pointing at Emma.
Affirmative. Pain in my ass.
Right.
As Emma, you're flipped over and saying, Edward Stilton, which being very generous, not giving you a GFY, as
That
ties
is a great name for an author for a cheese book.
your hands behind your back as you are lifted to your feet, your book stuffed into your rib cage for good holding, as an apple is stuck to the end of your horn for good holding, as they kind of corral you all into one single spot. The man kind of puts his knife away into his side before he says, "Ugh, I knew that you all would be necromancers. Proof is right there. You will not be missed in Ludrith. Follow me," before he walks over and says, "And again, don't make me ask twice," looking over now at Emma instead of Ordell.
Emma looks over to Asterion. You're fine. Everything's fine.
Ordell looks to Winter.
You said something about people touching your things. Ironic.
And he walks away.
He's angry.
Thank you. Yes, I noticed. Thing is, don't mind going over the wall, but I really need that book.
Do you whisper this to them or say it aloud?
I whisper this to Emma when she says that he's angry.
Okay. Emma chuckles internally for a moment as the five of you are walked towards the portcullis. You can see several other wagons seeming to leave this location, and some new ones arriving, most of them with supplies, a lot of them with bundles of bolts and arrows here, nets and things that they may need upon the walls. You also see a small fire nearby, which looked to be a bonfire, but upon closer inspection, there's not only wood, but bones here within the bonfire that they've burnt from the previous night. The fire is kind of just going out. There's just a few bits of coal and ash still around this stone circle on your side of the wall. As you approach the portcullis, a dwarf stands there in long black vestments, kind of inlaid with white stitching and cloth around the sides. There's a few holy symbols from religions that, Emma, you do not recognize, seemingly something newer, as you approach the dwarf. He kind of waves his hand as if to give an order, and when he does so, that man who has the dagger comes over and undoes all of your arm restraints. Pulls them off. As the dwarf says, "All right. You know the crime? You're to be exiled across the wall. Cannot have undeath here in Ludrith. Not anymore. You'll be branded, then you're free to go. Do not let me catch you back on this side of the wall. Do you understand me?"
Can she at least have her book back?
As he kind of nods over to the man who has the dagger. He walks past you over to the portcullis and sticks his hand through the iron bar and throws your book some 20 feet on the other side of the gate into the mud. He says, "You'll have all your possessions. We're not sending you out there for a death threat. But these are the laws of our lands. You can't be sacrificing," as he looks over to the Crimson Elf, "bringing back the dead. It's not what we do here in Ludrith. It's not clean. It's not allowed anymore. Denny trust you any more than I can throw you. And you I cannot throw very far," as he looks up to Ordell. "As I would have let the Warforged go, as we could use more, seems to have some programming attachment to this one." Looking up at the large friend next to you. "And the rest of you, obviously, have necromantic ties."
Whether or not that's true, at least we're not racist. You look at me and you think I sacrifice?
"Tell me, Crimson, how do you get that red in your hair if otherwise?"
My bloodline? My genetics?
He was born with it.
Oh no.
Well, she was.
It's true.
Because she was, I cannot give you a GFY, but know that I'm itching to give the first one of the campaigns, so just I'm gonna hair trigger right now.
And anyway, we were coming here regardless, so thanks for not making us walk.
So you admit freely then that you planned to go over the wall.
Yeah.
Then I see no solution but the exile. Bring the brand, as he looks over.
Wait, wasn't
small
that happening anyway?
A small tiefling woman approaches with a hot iron on a stick, of which there appears to be a small, almost, I say cross, but it's not like the religious cross. It's like a plus symbol, right? Equal on all sides, as they run over and pulls it out of that fire where the bodies have been burning, and goes over first to Winter and begins to roll up your sleeve before sticking the hot iron right on the inside of your left arm. Roll me a con save.
Those videos.
17.
17. It hurts, but you're able to hold your composure here and look as if you don't look weak before them. As it burns, you look and kind of stare the tiefling woman in her dark gray eyes as she does this. She seems to be distasteful for you and the creatures that you create. She begins doing this to everyone else in the group. I need con saves from everybody. XC and Emma, you are not given a brand so much as one of them brings over a small file and carves the same symbol in your metal and into your bone.
There's a really pretty piece of metal on my arm if they want to do it there.
Do you offer that to them, or do they? Okay. They take over the same place on the inside of your left arm. They begin filing down with a heavy metal file, and they just make a small little plus symbol on the inside of your left arm.
If you are going to do this, you have to do it here. And Emma's going to pull down her belt and right on the inside of her hip bone, literally on the inside of the hip. That's where it has to go. It's the only place.
The tiefling looks over at the dwarf. Go ahead and roll a persuasion.
Better do it. It's not very persuasive. It's 12.
12. You say, it's the only place to do it. Before the tiefling's eyes kind of go down, she grabs your left arm, pulls it up, and with another arm kind of locks your head out of the way and holds it before filing it under your left arm as well. So I need
the apple. I start munching.
It does not feel good at all.
As soon as she's done, I'm also going to use mending and fix my arm again. So there's no more etching in my bone.
If you do that visibly, they hold you down again and do it once more.
All right, cool. Then we're going to keep doing that until something happens.
Until the bit wears out.
Okay. If you keep doing it as they do so, you are in fact met with a swift punch in the face by the same man who had
I
the
will
dagger.
keep saying as I get punched, be like, I told you, the hip. That is where I want it.
That would be 4 damage, but it's bludgeoning and you are an unwilling. That's 8 damage as he punches you in the jaw.
Rude.
Do you keep mending?
Sorry.
Maybe once more.
Okay, then yeah, you get hit once more. That's another 8 damage.
Take it.
As one of them punches you in the face and it kind of causes your jaw to disconnect before magically it reorients. As you kind of, more out of stubbornness, do it again. This time they actively kind of like push you to the ground and just kick you once in the face and hold your arm down and your other one away to where you cannot mend and make the mark. You hear the tiefling say, "This is pointless. He's just going to mend it once he gets out the wall." Dwarf says, "Once he's outside the wall, it's not our problem. But you must be marked until you get outside that wall. From then, I didn't want to see you back over here. I didn't even know how you got here in the first place. And I'm not too keen to see you yet again."
Rude.
Under my breath, I just go, racist.
XC, Ashrin, and Ordell, I need con saves from the 3 of you to see if you're able to hold your composure.
21? Wait, let me double check that.
19.
19,
18 plus 8, it's 26.
26. You all
I feel like
are,
it's fitting for Ordell.
you all are hardened warriors. You're level 5 after all. That way, chat knows. As they brand into the skins of Ashrin and Ordell, you can't see it from the outside. It's not something that mars your physical appearance unless you are to move your left arm and have it be visible. XC, same thing for you. You all hold and stand there strong, aware of the fate that befalls you. As the final brand is done, which is Emma, as they have to hold her down to finish off their filing into her. Ash, what were you doing?
Oh, just that when the armor is lifted and you can finally peek and see to do the branding, she's just covered in like intricate tattoos that go all the way down her hand onto her arm. So she's used to the pain.
What color are the tattoos?
Black.
Black. Okay. As they take a look. You hear a sigh from the tiefling woman who brands the inside of your arm. It takes a lot more work to brand you than it does the others. Your skin is quite thick as a crimson elf. Eventually, your branding is done as the dwarf finally does a religious ceremony with his hands, kind of touching both of his arms, placing his hands out before he seems to mutter a prayer under his breath.
A prayer?
Aye. Seeming to be done with it, he bows his head. For you, I hope that you find life and mend your ways across the border. And I hope that you find happiness. I truly don't wish pain upon you. But I also don't wish you to be here near my family. Open the gate! As he leans back, the sudden portcullis is locked upwards. Winter, your book now 30 feet off. And as you can see across the portcullis and out into the land, you see nothing but gray and brown, desolate, unfarmable land. The smell of sulfur is thick as the rain from maybe a night or two ago still makes the land quite muddy here. Trees long dead. This is not a land where life lives, though you did plan to come here, the two of you. Ordell, however, had no such plans. Exy, kind of excited to go, and Emma, you don't know what this old Cora is. Everywhere is better than inside the ring, as the dwarf pulls his hands over, ushering you forward and through the gates.
Before I get through, I'm going to visibly make it seen that I'm mending my arm, and then I get out, and then I go pick up her book.
Emma walks through willingly and rushes to your book, Winter, before everyone else. What's everybody else doing? Do you go willingly? Let's go with Ash. What do you do?
I take Winter's hand, and we walk in stride.
Looking at everyone else around you, confidently, you go through the portcullis. Exy, Ordell.
Ordell looks over to the dwarf.
You owe me no favors, but there was something being made within the area of which I was accosted. I would appreciate if it was fixed and utilized, but I'm going to be on here, so I won't know whether or not.
What was it?
He kind of pauses,
A home.
and he leaves.
Exy follows, and as he goes under the, I guess, the line that designates where moving through the wall, his body, while he keeps walking, turns roughly 90 degrees. He looks back. He grabs the patch that was nice and shiny, lifts it up, turns it around, and pops it back on. And then there's a logo of the Ludroth army there instead. And then he keeps walking.
As everyone walks through the portcullis, Winter, Emma nicely reaches over and hands you your book. There's a bit of mud on the cover, but luckily it didn't seem to damage any of the pages within your book.
Thank you, darling. It is a awfully eventful day to awaken.
Living people can be pricks.
True.
As Winter says,
Affirmative.
true,
Ha, ha, ha.
the ha ha ha, no, I like that one better. As the portcullis begins to slowly move down and lock itself into place once more, you all notice your packs already outside the wall here. Ordell, your large greatsword has a small bedroll and pack hanging off of it, stuck into the ground. And all of you find your stuff here. They seem to truly not have intended to rob you or steal you of your things, just want you out of this land. As It seems like a good place to pause for a break. It's currently 8 o'clock. Why don't we come back at 8:07? We'll take a 7-minute break. If you haven't done so yet, enter that giveaway. We'll go ahead and have Lanta end the giveaway right when we get back. We're just going to continue on from there and listen to the new song that was made for Summer by Words Mythologic, which is her own thing, because now we've heard everybody's song on the show, and that will be what y'all will be regaled with during the break. We'll be back in 7 minutes, everybody. Hope to see you soon. We are back, everybody. I realized I did tell you that that was Summer Song, but I started by playing Xania's. It's because I accidentally clicked on Stream Starting Soon again instead of our cool new BRB screen. They're very similar. Whatever. I put the Summer Song on after. Thought it was awesome. So if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and put your entry into the giveaway, and Lana can go ahead and stop that one and move on to the next one. This one was the Dekus die one, correct? I think so. Yes, that is what this die here looks, and it's awesome.
It's so beautiful.
So good. Also, Blue Hawk won the last giveaway and is asking, yes, you will get an email. So they will.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, we're going to move it on to the right people so that you'll get the right contact information. Don't worry about it. All you got to do is win. So boom. Oh, and Penguin McCool won the Misty dice. So hey, cool.
Nice.
Penguin again. Yeah, glad to see it. Awesome.
No penguins in this campaign yet.
Yeah, no penguins.
Not yet.
We'll have another dice giveaway, but we're just going to continue right on where we left off. As we did stop, you all see your stuff next to you on the other side of the portcullis. You can now look up and see this stone wall, maybe about 20, 30 feet high. XC, you recognize it to be dwarvish stonework, definitely made of Ludrith, like from your time. However, it was made a long time ago, possibly even right after your deactivation. Definitely 100+ years ago. And on this side of the wall, it is far less maintained than it is on the other side of the wall here. You all grab your stuff. Ordell, you have your great sword on the other side. Everyone's weaponry and packs are there as you see this great expanse of dead land out before you. Old Korra. Everybody roll me a history check except for XC and Emma.
I told you this was the hells. As I cast Cure Wounds on myself, and just so you know, I rolled an 8. Look at me go.
Oh, look at you. Ordell knew there was a wall here, and that's about it.
Winter's like good at history, you guys. I don't know if you've noticed that. So that's gonna be 24.
Ash?
13.
I can never tell with Brie if she's for real when she says stuff like she's good at history, because half the time it's like, yeah, 39. And then it's like, she's good at history, 2. Negative 2, actually.
I have been told that I have a sarcasm problem.
You have a very good poker face.
When I'm trying to be genuine, I seem extremely sarcastic.
Yeah.
Just resting sarcasm face.
It fits the character. It's perfect. You're marvelous.
So method. As you're out here, Ash, you've heard the stories. Ordell, you never bothered beyond this wall. That was not anything you needed to worry about. It's been a long time since you've been to Old Korra. You haven't heard of anything about it in a long, long time. Ash, you know what everybody else knows. This was once the battleground of a great war between gods made, born, and humans. Not humans, humanoids trying to solidify their place in Asterion. Winter, you know. And the main reason you are here, Ash has reasons to come here as well, but Winter, you know a bit more about it. This is almost like your fantasy vacation, where you've wanted to be for a long time. The land here is dead. Hardly anything grows as far as vegetation. There are roams and hordes of undead that walk through this land here. Ghouls, skeletons, things that have no place in the other parts of society, that are all exiled here, or all that seem to spring up on their own here within this land. This once was the necromantic hub of the world, as necromancy was freely practiced by the peoples here. There are latent energies and artifacts lost to time and the decay around you that cause all sorts of, decay in this area. This is like a kid in a candy shop. You actually can't wait to get out here and take a look at things. They weren't right that you brought the undead here, but they might have been right had they waited a few weeks. You're excited to be here, though you wish you would have had more time to get preparations like more food, water, things like that. Something these other three won't really have to worry about affects you and Asherin pretty heavily. You have, between the two of you, 2 days worth of water and rations. Asherin and Winter, you can mark that down. You have a water skin that's enough for 2 days and rations for 2. Other than that, at some point, you're going to have to find food. You were planning to stock for a couple weeks worth of journey. That's your only worry about being out here, is finding food. Other than that, this is nothing but exciting for you, though you do feel a bit bad for Ordell.
Question. If we had starting equipment of rations, like for the other characters, do you want us to remove that from our inventory?
Yeah, go ahead and remove that from your inventory.
Sounds good.
Would you say that we have that we would have some of the gear on us that we were collecting with the plans, but not the rations, like the mess kit and things like that?
Yeah, you have everything else. The rations are just that you have 2 days worth of food and 2 days worth of water.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
I don't do like you have 1 water skin. I just tell you how many days worth you currently have.
Yeah.
What?
Ash,
Oh, go ahead.
take it in, babe. We're here.
I stand there and I take a deep breath. What do I smell?
Sulfur and wet ground, like when it freshly rains in an area where a pig farm recently has been. This is a not
stinky petrichor.
Good smell. Mostly, you also smell flesh and bodies that have since not only rotted here, but been left in the rain and mud to slowly sink down and rejoin the earth. It is putrid, but being that it's what you're looking for, not unexpected.
I
It's good, isn't it?
It's great. It's great. It's they always forget to talk about the smells when they talk about here.
Yeah, but I mean, they're good smells, objectively.
Everything is about perception, so you are correct. I just need to rearrange how I perceive things.
I turn to kind of face the rest of our new friends and say, General, I do have to extend my sincere apologies. I know that you weren't as enthusiastic as perhaps I was to breach the wall, and I'm really sorry.
I'm going to ask this once, and if you lie to me, I will know. Did you bring them?
Bring who?
I point back at the portcullis. Did you bring them?
No, I would never. Those people are disgusting.
I do have to say, big guy, that most likely than not, they probably would have arrived at your abode. Yeah, anyway. I mean, you are.
All of you arrived at my abode before they did. My abode was quiet before all of you arrived.
Technically, I was already there, but Emma just kind of backs up away from this giant person.
Ash is gonna take a step closer to the giant person, and she's gonna go. And we were taken too, and knocked out and tied up.
Granted, we were already headed here, but please, sincerely, we never wanted any harm to come to you.
Ordell, will these be part of your entourage?
No. Well, yep.
Confusion.
Go into your command protocols. If there is something regarding autonomy, We are going to be out here, and I need you to think freely. This is a place where many people die. If you tie yourself just to me, I don't want you to fall apart.
Unable to fall apart. I have been built very well.
I can fall apart.
You may give me an overarching protocol.
I want you to
Stay
think
alive,
freely for the
protect you.
time being. Stay alive. And ensure those two.
And he points to Asheron and Winter.
They will need food and water out here. They look underprepared.
Affirmative.
Like we said, we came here a bit early.
I will tell you now. The brand may have hurt. Death by starvation is much, much worse.
Can confirm.
Is that how you?
I think Ordell looks like he's about to like say something really rude, but then he drops on one knee again to Winter.
I did not just die once. Starvation was one of the many. Death is not pleasant, but there are worse ways to die than some.
But once you get there, it's not so bad.
I disagree.
In fair, if you are brought back multiple times, only been brought back once.
I lost track.
Show you quick ways and slow ways to die.
Many slow ways to die. Sometimes you have poisoning. And sometimes you have, as Emma's like walking off, and just rattling off ways to die.
Mortals have subjective points. Arteries and veins are great. As he continues to talk with Emma.
As Emma and
What else?
XC walk, talking about ways to die or kill things, you begin walking towards what is seemingly the only path from here. It is not a paved path by any means, but it is a well-traveled path, either by creatures or people returning to or from this part of the land. It seems to go off further from the north. The border that you're on stops going east to west and prevents a northern and southern border. From here, you could head off to the north and follow that pathway, but you can even see from now in the distance it slowly starts to fade away, leading to just open, unused land. But you do follow it, the two of you, for a moment. Asher and Winter and Ordell, what are you doing?
I kind of want to yell to Emma and be like, Emma, Bone Queen, can I use one of my favors?
Of course, darling. What can I help you with?
Food and water? How
Yeah,
are you
no.
at Loki? Fuck.
I need to throw this out there. I'm not a genie. I can't just magically make things happen. So yeah.
Okay, I retract my request and I keep the favor.
But I can do this, and all of a sudden, like, plates of food and water start like appearing around and floating around. The only downside is you can't eat or drink any of this.
As
she-
Asher reaches up, yeah. Your hand goes for a leg of turkey before it just falls right through the plate, and the illusion fades and trickles back from your hand up towards the plate, and you now see it for what it is.
That is a cruel, cruel joke, and don't ever do that again.
Oh, it's all right. And just like you are right back there, while I'm in the ring, I can hear everything that's going on around me, at least. Been interesting things sitting in that junkyard for a while. I actually didn't hear much.
While Emma's talking, I kind of want to put my hand in my pocket where the ring is and start rubbing it to see if she goes back in without.
Do you put your hand in the ring?
No, I like, because The way it happened originally, I was kind of just fiddling with it and then putting it on by like just messing around. So I don't think she really knows exactly how Emma came out. So she's gonna rub it like a genie's bottle to see. Like,
Gotcha.
Good.
You basically polish the stone in your hand, but as Emma's talking to you, you're kind of as you kind of keep fiddling back and forth in your pocket, but nothing seems to change.
all right, I'll figure it out later.
Ordell, after a moment,
I know it wasn't your fault. And I'm sorry if I seem hostile. I don't have much, but now I have less than that. My name is Ordell. I'll at least start there, because I don't know either of your names.
because I haven't been, Winter and Asheron have not said their names canonically.
I'm Winter Jones. You may have heard of my parents, or maybe you haven't. I mean, you haven't been, in town very much. But from someone who has had a lot, sometimes having less is a little better.
I worked very hard for what little I had. It's not easy to get when you look like this. That being said, not all is lost.
I suppose it's really easy for me to say that having a lot and never having nothing.
Give it a week. Out here you will experience it. And I don't mean that as a threat. This is not a pleasant place to be.
Hey, Ordell, have you heard of what a brothel is? You would probably go for pretty high rates. And then you can live with a lot.
I suddenly wish I didn't start this conversation.
And I start following the other two.
I'm Ash, by the way.
I just personally, I know Jackie is making sure that she is not the first person that the party tries to sell their body this time. So
Y'all know that gif of like naked Thanos twerking? That's Ordell.
exactly. As Ordell goes to catch up to Emma and XC, Ash rushes by. I'm Ash, by the way. As the five of you begin to walk to the north, semi-aimlessly, as you have since been exiled from the land of Ludrith and now reside in Old Korra. Being that you're going aimlessly, who's leading the group, and what are you all looking for? Or are you just going to the north? Was I 100% right, by the way, Jackie? Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Funny enough, I think it's Emma and XC that are leading right now, just continuing on ways of dying and slow deaths and poisons and other things.
Are the two of you looking for a place? Because it seems like the way you described it,
not.
you're just walking,
Yeah,
unless
we're just
somebody
walking.
else is
Yeah.
saying something else.
When we get back into the proper alignment of following someone, I'll be at the back of the group anyway, keeping an eye on everyone.
Okay. You talk for a little while then before slowly Ordell begins to walk next to Emma. Asheron Winter, XC, just kind of stops for a moment, allowing everyone to pass on by as XC goes to the back. Emma, being that you were in conversation, I don't know your character well enough yet. Do you say, "Oh, I guess I'm following you then," and follow XC to the back? Or are you, "Oh, I'm still
No,
in the
I would
lead"?
actually continue walking and talking about ways to die now with Ordell. Just like not even stopping the conversation, just continuing like XC never even left.
As XC kind of slowly goes behind Ordell, looks to the side before like Emma hits with her bony fingers on the side of his hip, and he says, "And being crushed by someone as giant as you, that's a way as well." Before
Indeed.
continuing walking. Emma's walking aimlessly, so unless anybody else is saying otherwise, you're just walking aimlessly to the north. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. But also, when Emma's like listing ways to die, Ordell like eventually just looks in.
That man did not punch you hard enough. I will.
That'd be another way. And then
Ordell sighs, seeing that he got absolutely no purchase in that.
I'm going to die out here somehow.
Not if I can help it.
That is
Winter
fine.
just
Die
feels
very
like,
quickly.
Winter just feels like super checked, and is like kind of trying to take in this awesome place, but also the dude that like she's respected forever has just she's just kind of like, oh fuck, I think I think I done did something wrong. And then just like sheepishly like following behind.
As you all head to the north with seemingly aimless direction, following Ordell and Emma, Winter, you're taking in the sights around you, as is Ashrin. The trees, though dead, slowly begin to rot even more the further north you get. It seems that rain happened nearby the border, but it's been a while since it's rained this far out. You've traveled maybe 3 or 4 miles at this point, and you're now in no longer wet, muddy land, but dry, dusty earth as you move forward. There's a few patches and clumps of trees that once seemed to have been full of life, and as it's about midday right now, in the distance, you can see a mountain begin to go over the horizon. So it must be miles, if not tens of miles off, but there is a mountain to the north. That could be a place to go. You're currently heading that way, but then you also, Winter, you know a little bit about Old Korra. If you were to head to the northeast, you'd probably be able to get closer to the coastline, or you could head northwest and go further into the country. This thought crosses your mind, but it's up to you whether you mention it or not.
Uh, Emma,
Yeah.
Emma,
Mhm. Sorry,
I
getting used to
know.
my new name or name.
I didn't know if she was just too cool for me.
Don't need you.
You didn't open my ring.
Another way
Screw
to
you.
die is to say my name.
Do you, I mean, not to be rude, but do you know where we're going?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. You were walking with like a lot of purpose, and you have that whole throne thing, and it really seemed like you. Okay, so should we maybe think about where we're gonna go? I mean, just walking is fine as well. That's
Oh,
cool.
most definitely. If you were to follow me, you'd probably die.
While I'm okay with that, at some point, I'd like to see a little bit more, if that's okay. So we have like a couple of options, if you don't mind me, and I bring out my book and I try and do like a little bit of a sketch of where I think things might be in this area. I was hoping to try and source a map before we left, but I hadn't had any luck yet.
You
I'm
definitely
assuming.
are going to have to hope to find a map of Old Korra, or what is New Korra, being the new area, but what is Old Korra is the map that you're looking for, something that would give you some sort of idea of the landmarks. You know that the capital is somewhere on the eastern side of the country, the old capital, and there's a few towns nearby and around it. There's an icy part to the north, but other than that, you're not entirely sure. You know, the big kingdom, or the city-state of Mur or Kern, is far off to the west, but that's ages and ages away, especially in this landscape with hardly any sort of identifying markers to go by or roads. You're not entirely sure where you are right now. You just know general directions where, if you were to come out of the gate, where you'd want to go.
So I guess where do we want to go together? We have this whole new world to explore. Old world, new world. Ash, do you aside from, getting past the wall, we hadn't really thought too much about where we were going to end up yet. Do you?
We have not, and I honestly don't know where to go. It's just all desolate, and I don't see anything. I can't read the land. There's no plants to get any direction off of. I'm lost.
I think maybe if we head east. Exy, do you have any data about this place stored?
Can I make a survival check to point east?
Yeah, absolutely.
18 plus 7, 25. Zzz, zzz. East. My arm lifts up and points in east direction.
I mean, that's a direction. It's more than we had a few minutes ago. I mean, I would be totally chill with going that way if everyone else is.
I actually think I might have something. And she's going to go ahead and take out a dagger from her waist. And she takes it out, and it's has a black manta ray leather wrapped handle, and the blade is curved forged steel, and the dagger has a dark ruby in the hilt. And she just grasps the blade and drags it across her palm so it draws blood. And she's going to just think east.
As you look at the blood in your hand and on the blade, the blood seems to travel up the blade, along the leather, and into the ruby hilt. Looking into it, almost in the real world, like looking into a magic 8-ball for an answer, you look inside there and words begin to form with the magic in the blood. Seems to be a good idea.
She'll wipe the blade clean and put it back in her hilt.
Everybody can roll me an Arcana check real quick.
I smell blood. I'm gonna roll my blood dice for this Arcana.
18.
3.
What's my Arcana? Plus 4? 23.
23. Emma and Winter recognize what Asterion is doing, though the way that they're going about it doesn't seem to be innately to them so much as it is innately to the dagger. Seems to be casting the augury spell to find out if what they're doing is a good or bad idea.
And Emma's head's going to swivel on point while still walking forward, but just to look back. Blood magic. And then turn around with the rest of the body.
No. East.
Blood magic.
No. East.
Emma is going to take her finger and shove it into her palm. Blood magic.
Ah! Oh! No.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
No.
blood magic.
No.
I mean, you could also, and then Emma's going to take a couple of her fingers and then just like roll them in the dirt. You could roll bones. You could, drop tea leaves. There's so many other things you could do, but you chose blood magic. I like it.
No.
Gather up my fingers.
I did not. Your just like your food, your eyes are deceiving you.
Go ahead and roll a insight, Emma, and a deception, Asterion.
This is so different from being Xenia. It feels so weird.
I love it.
Try me. I rolled my blood dice.
Okay.
So 17 plus 7.
15 plus...
Jackie looks so confident.
15 plus the deception too, so 17.
Asherion's definitely holding something back. It wasn't obvious, but Ashland's definitely holding something back from you. You know
Emma's
this to
gonna
be blood
take her
magic. You were
blood-
smart in the ways of the arcane.
Emma's gonna take her blood-soaked finger and just boop her on the forehead. Blood magic. Yeah. Where are we going? East? East.
Can
look-
Winter roll like Constitution to see if she can like keep her shit together?
I would just say that's up to you if you keep your shit together.
I'm fine.
As Winter's parasol kind of makes sure that it's out, keeping the sun off. Though that seems to be less and less of a problem the further north you were heading, where before it was a bright blue sky and a cloudy day. The clouds get darker, seemingly the more you go into Old Korra. There seems to be an ever-present darkness over the land here. So even when the sun is out, which allows you to see, dark skies are ahead. So moving to the east kind of puts that at bay for a little bit. Now it's just kind of clouds forming and slowly moving to the north from the outskirts of this dark, cloudy night. But you're moving to the east. It's maybe about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. XC, you would know based on the position of the sun. If you're heading east, you've still got a decent amount of time before it would be nightfall. Is that the plan?
Yeah. While we're walking, Ordell does look to Winter, like walking beside her.
Your friends are strange.
Great, isn't it?
Yes.
I just pause for a long time, and Ordell's doing the whole like, am I the weird one in this group? Just like kind of like completely like
Uh,
Ordell, I would love it if you were strange too.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I hold out my hand, and it kind of goes up, I guess, because he's so much bigger than me.
Ordell. For a moment, his eyes, the glow in them starts to dim, but as he blinks, he kind of shakes it off, and then takes her hand and like walks.
it's Winter. You
Ordell.
hold your hand up. Go ahead, XC.
Strange, unusual, or surprising, difficult to understand.
Ah. Then yes, I suppose all of us are just that.
That's to twirl my umbrella as we walk.
Winter now skips and twirls the parasol as you walk out in this desolate, dusty land, moving off to the east. You do know that at some point, based on the location of the gate that you were currently let through, being that you haven't head terribly far north, maybe 3-4 miles at this point, if you just keep heading east, you're going to hit the wall again. It kind of is a curved like wall that goes up, protecting the border of Old Korra and Ludrith. So you kind of tell XC, who seems to be the directional expert, where to go. XC, go ahead and roll me a survival.
That's a 16.
16. You could keep everyone from getting too close to the wall if you'd like, or you can use the wall as a guide moving further towards the eastern coast. You have confidence in your ability to do that. Where are you leading everyone?
I think we'll keep. Well, I'll keep pointing with the wall sort of in the distance, so we know there's the wall there. Having a reference point is always useful.
Good. It's a pretty decent wall, and there's not many trees in your way. Being that it's a few miles away, every now and again it kind of crests its way up on the top of the hill, or you get high enough on a hill to where you're able to see it. As you head to the east, there is a small patch of dead trees that once must have been a pretty dense forest. It doesn't look to be a very big one, nor a very sprawling one, but it might be about a mile in diameter, this small little patch of forest here. It's pretty thick, but you could easily walk right through it, or it might take some extra time to try and go around. What would you all like to do?
Ooh. Emma's gonna stop in her tracks as this little skeletal imp crawls up onto her shoulder, and she's just staring up at the sky.
You all see the imp jump onto your skeletal friend's shoulder as both of them just look straight up.
No.
I also look up.
XC, roll me a perception.
16.
You look up and don't see anything but the roiling of the start of clouds that move to the north. You're not entirely sure what Emma's looking at.
Winter looks up as well.
Anybody who does look up, you can roll me a perception.
I follow.
Ordell, eyes straight. Looking up is for, it's for wimps.
6.
I just
Six.
I look at everyone looking up and just say, strange.
9.
9. As both of you look up, you don't see anything either. It must be the start of the clouds forming that must be interesting to Emma.
When you're all looking up, Emma looks around. What are we looking at?
What are you looking at?
Wasn't looking at anything. We're going forward. Onward. East. Blood magic.
I was already walking before she even said that, so I was already ignoring what she was saying.
There's a forest in your path. You could either go through it, take the south side of the forest closer to the wall, or take the north side of the forest if you want to try and go around it.
We should go through the forest, right? That's where there would be food in the forest.
This is
Harder for me to protect you in the forest.
Can I roll survival and see if what I said was true after I said it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Saying it either way, just
What are you specifically asking for again?
if there's food, if it would be easier to find food and water in the forest.
Absolutely.
Before you tell anybody, Emma walks up and does like little bongos on your shoulder. I don't know, but that's a good thought. And I'm casting guidance.
Horrible. So survival 22.
22. Forests always seem like a great idea to find food. Definitely better than the vast expanse of nothingness, unless you happen to find a gopher.
I look up at Emma and go, "Thank you. It was a good thought. To the forest."
To the forest.
Winter pulls on Ordell's hand, dragging him further into the forest. Everybody going in?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. You all walk to the edge of the dead forest here. It's not very large, not very dense, enough for you where you can walk through with no problems. If there were branches full of trees here, that may have been a difference, but you're able to go through seemingly no issues. There's lots of dead branches out here, lots of things broken and destroyed. As you're going through this dead forest, being that you're all kind of on the lookout for food, and just in general what's in this forest, you get maybe a couple 100 yards in. I need everybody to roll me a perception check.
Perception. Hot damn.
26.
Oh, not as great. 23.
21.
21.
10.
10.
I'm glad tied for 10. Let's go. Back of the group. Where I'm like, okay, 10's not too bad. You know, we're probably going to be in the middle. No, we're the low ones, I guess.
As you're both holding hands, you're more focused on having to do the dance of moving through a forest while holding somebody's hand. It's very hard to do.
I kick trees out of the way.
Yeah. Anytime Winter's parasol gets stuck, you just kind of pull two of the smaller trees out of the way for the parasol to make its way through, no problem. XC, however, you are having none of this. You are very alert here. Nothing is going to hurt your general. Emma, Ashrin, you're the same way, but more for self-preservation reasons for the two of you. As you look through here, one thing stands out. In this gray and dark brown drab landscape, you see green behind one tree. There seems to be some sort of new growth deep in part of this forest, seemingly a new tree growing out of the ground. It's right near the very center of this forest. It's a couple 100 yards off still, but you can see green somewhere out there. It's a promising sight.
Shit, here we go with reincarnated druids again.
Error, optics detecting invalid color. Must refresh. And then my eyes just cycle through some colors initially, just for a bit.
Yep, that's a
What do
tree.
you, yeah, what do you see, Xe?
Green. I see green.
Green means water, life.
My hand points out into the general direction.
Green
Hey,
can
hey.
also be poison.
Or magic.
I go towards the green, but I take my rapier out.
I
Ashton,
misheard rapier and thought you said root beer, and I was just like, just pop
Took
it
a
open.
root beer out.
My one.
Ashwin
one
turns to
water
the camera, pops it open, and goes, "Nothing like a good barks to quench my thirst while I'm in this desolate wasteland."
y'all see that tree over there? I see a tree.
There's a tree over there. Good thing I got my root beer. Yeehaw!
That's fun.
Ashwin.
Okay.
Ashwin. Ashwin.
What?
Ashwin.
What?
Stab it.
Stab it?
Stab the green.
Stab it.
Why should I? Oh God. Oh no, there's two of you.
Queen, Ash. You have to listen to the queen.
I look at my cut palm, to which she stabbed her fingers into. No. Fuck you.
As Ashwin grabs the rapier and begins walking with rapier out and wits about her towards the green. It's going to take you some time to get there. You can try and approach more carefully. Is anybody else joining Ashwin on her approach, or are you all slowly heading that way?
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
keep walking with her. Just like literally, if I had lungs and could breathe, would be breathing over her shoulder.
XC, with your passive perception, as you all get closer towards the screen, you're maybe about 300-400 feet away at this point. You can see the top of one tree swaying as if there is a breeze upon it. One tree, one dead tree nearby the green that you can see pretty low to the ground. The green, now that you're a bit closer, seems to only maybe be about 5-6 feet off the ground. But there is a tree swaying back and forth nearby it. You can't see what's causing it, but there is something as if there's a wind blowing upon one single tree.
I will reach around for my gun and go detection movement detected, and the gun comes up, goes into place, and points in that direction.
Everyone, as Ashwin, he stole your weapon. As everyone sees now the tree being moved, since XC points it out, you're maybe about 300-400 feet away. You still can't quite see what's causing it, as there are other trees in the way, and you can only see the outside of the green from the lower tree on the ground. What do you do? You stop and think and contemplate for a moment. Everyone does, in deep thought.
Sorry, I was waiting for the dog to stop barking.
Poke it.
Poke the dog.
Poke it.
Stop barking.
Like I should take advice from the being that's been stuck for 800 years.
You listen here, miss.
Can I, would I have known about anything like this tree in my research?
If you get closer, you might be able to take a look at it. Right now, it just looks like wind is blowing it. You're like 300-400 feet away.
I'm gonna go up to the tree for sure.
Okay.
Spooky dead tree? Yeah, bitch, I'm there.
Winter and Ordell. I'm guessing Ordell, unless you tell me otherwise that you're not being pulled by Winter.
I'm assuming she moved.
I'm gonna let go of your hand, inquisitively, like the same way that I approached the same way I approached Emma the first time that I saw her. I'm gonna kind of let go and focus on that tree that looks like death has touched it.
Are you extending your hand out to it
Yeah.
like an animal? Winter, it doesn't have hands.
As winter gets closer, people following nearby. They're maybe about
Ordell's
100
very
feet
close.
away. Now that you've kind of gone a little outside, having to bob and weave in between trees to get closer, you can see what looks to be somebody's hand from up maybe about 10 feet in the tree, reaching down towards the tree that's on the ground.
Winter, I was very wrong. I was very, very wrong.
Decayed, with little flesh still on its arm, reaching out towards the tree, seemingly causing the tree to move back and forward as if somebody trying to get the tree to bend down. As you move over closer, you see what looks to be a ghoul of sorts, with the tree that it's in having grown up and through its belly. The branch underneath it holding it stuck in place as if it's grown here for some time. Now that you get a little bit better look at it, everybody roll me a perception one more time.
Ooh, 22.
You know.
26.
My first not terrible.
Hey, you're leaving winter in the dust this time.
16.
You're taller. 16. Exy.
26.
Ashen.
I'm no longer a one roll perception guy.
23.
As Exy, Ordell, and Ashrin, you're now behind a few trees taking a look. There's a few dead branches that are lower, but Ordell, Exy, Ashrin, you're taller and can see no problem. Emma and Winter, they just kind of happen to block right behind your path. You're going to see it soon if you get closer, but Exy, Ordell, and Ashrin, you see this ghoulish creature no longer has any eyes in its head, but what it does have is an open skull with seemingly no brains or guts or anything, but it is filled with acorns, walnut shells, and nuts from trees that have been stuffed into its head and into its eyes as it reaches out, as it kind of grunts as it tries to reach down. You also can now all see this small tree on the ground. What you thought to be a tree, now that you've approached closer, it looks to actually be almost like a sapling, barely having grown, maybe just 2-3 years old at this point. Everybody roll me a nature check that is proficient with it. If nobody is proficient with it, nobody roll.
I'm not.
Okay, nobody roll. Nobody knows what type of tree that is. And there's a ghoul, maybe about 50 feet away from you at this point, that doesn't seem to notice you all yet, reaching out towards this small tree.
Ordell seeing the ghoul, does it look like it's suffering? Like, is this like basically like a dog chained to a tree kind of thing?
It doesn't look like it's
Like in a
there
bad way.
intentionally, but it also doesn't look to be in pain.
You okay?
Do you call out to it?
Yeah.
It kind of stops, and as it does so, the two walnuts that are in its eye sockets, as it turns its head, quickly fall down to the ground. As it... Oh! It reaches out its hand in the general direction from where your voice came. As you see it now, its face kind of rotted, skin falling off of its cheek, and you can see the muscle beneath its cheekbone as it moves. Its entire stomach is inside this tree, but it seems to still be alive as it says, "Hello? Ghost. Ghost. Don't take the tree. Don't."
Why would I take your tree? I keep walking towards it and reach out my hand.
Do you touch it?
The ghoul?
Yeah. Or do you touch the tree?
Yeah.
I'm unsure of what you're...
I'll touch, if I'm within touch and distance, I'll touch the ghoul's hand.
As you touch it, it recoils, unaware that you were to touch it, seemingly not to have any sight, before it reaches out trying to grasp your hand. Do you leave your hand up there?
Yeah, I grab it like firmly and say, "It's okay."
He kind of pulls
okay.
you towards him as he's... Did you touch my tree?
No.
He lets go of your hand, says, "Please, don't touch my tree."
I understand that is your tree, sir, and you do not want me to touch it.
Am I just gonna tiptoe towards the tree?
You look.
I'm gonna grab Emma by the collarbone and just like hold Emma up.
Do not.
There are others.
Might I
None of you
ask-
touch my tree, please. Please.
Is it a special tree?
Yes. Very special.
It's very pretty. It's a very pretty tree that you have.
How tall is it now?
It's, would you say about 3 feet?
About 5 feet.
Oh, it's a decently sized tree. It's about 5 feet tall.
How close am I?
Lovely and green.
He's about 2 feet away from the tip of it as he asks how close he is.
You're a little out of reach, right? Is he?
Oh yeah,
He
he's
can't
about
reach
2
it
feet
from where he
away.
is.
That's why he seems to be trying to lean forward. Even still, he's maybe about a foot away as the tree slowly leans that way.
Alex, can you translate that into Australian for me?
What was the exact amount?
Yeah,
Moved,
right. So
Ryan?
what? It's
2
about
feet.
where you think it's
Oh,
centimeters
it's
and
about
meters
it's
here.
about 60 centimeters. It's less than a meter.
Okay.
Yeah, not much at all.
Half a meter. Okay. Oh, it's you're not going to be able to reach it from where you are. Do you need something from the tree?
Seemingly defeated at this news, he slumps and falls, sad, in the tree as his arms dangle. He says, "Damn it! I have to wait longer." Will you let me out of this tree?
Well, how'd you get in there? Quite a bind you're in.
I got stuck. I took a nap in the forest, and a tree grew inside me.
Oh dear.
Can I insight
That's-
check that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna also Ordell has a flashback as now that everyone knows, I'm gonna use my reborn ability of giving myself an extra D6. I'm just gonna mark that off. There we go. Ooh, not bad, not bad. Okay. So my insight is +4. So that's a 13 +4, 17 plus another 4 from my D6. So 23.
23?
No, 21. 21. 17 plus 4 is 21.
Correct.
I can do math. Big brain.
Barbarian, you know method acting, man. I get it.
Yeah,
As-
exactly. I'm very deep in the character.
As he doesn't seem to have a reason to lie to you. The disappointing news to him, he seems to be very surface level as you're giving all of him this information.
Well, my friend Emma, she took a really long nap once, and she didn't end up with a tree growing through her. But Emma, do you know how this might have happened to this gentleman?
We could rip you in half and then you could touch the tree.
Would that help?
Are you strong? Strong enough to rip
What?
me?
One of us is.
His head kind of turns up and looks, now perked, excited at the news. Okay.
Might hurt. I'll keep you from dying.
I wonder what you're expecting to happen when you do touch the tree.
I grew it to get me off of this tree.
Hmm.
A squirrel
Oh.
came by, put nuts in my head. I knew it was only a matter of years before I could plant a nut,
Hmm.
gather the water, pour it in one spot, and get out of
Mhm.
here. But now, new hope. You have muscle.
Do I
I
know
love
what
that.
will happen to him when we rip him in half and pull him out of the tree?
You roll me a medicine check.
You'll be alright.
That's Emma.
He'll be right. Watch, I can do it, Emma.
Yeah.
Emma does with her spine the like finger thing, like hey 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 hey.
10.
10.
Look,
You know
I'm
you've
telling
never
you, it'll
tried.
be fine.
He already looks to be in a state of disrepair. You don't know.
Listen, he'll be fine. We got this. Or Dell. Can you rip him in half? That's what he wants.
I walk up to the ghoul.
If you harm me or my friends, I will ensure that not only are you ripped into more pieces, those pieces will be scattered very far. Is that clear?
He kind of looks up now, hearing your voice much higher than Winter's. Can't even see you.
I'm aware.
So the orientation of this dude is
His
He is-
body lays flat. His kind of chest and neck and stuff kind of lay over one branch that goes up, but a large tree trunk grows up through his stomach. There's maybe about 4 or 5 inches on each side of his stomach where he still has flesh holding him stuck to this tree.
okay. So he's like Winnie the Poohing, basically the way he's positioned, though, right? He's
What
like
Winnie the
laying-
Pooh episode did you watch?
When he's stuck in the hole in the
When he's
thing.
impaled.
Yeah, you know.
When he goes to Rabbit's house, though,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like his upper torso. Okay,
He's Winnie the
I
Pooh
was
out of
trying
both
to-
sides. Yeah.
I thought initially the way you
Famous.
described swing. Anyway, so wait, he wants to be ripped in half. Ordell's gonna try the more like how big is this tree that's grown through him? It's a hardy tree?
Yeah, it's maybe about. It's not for Ordell, but like to Jakey, it'd be if you wrapped your arms around.
Okay, well, Ordell's gonna take out his woodworker's tools because like he was doing his stuff, and if they gave him his things, I'm gonna pull out what I assume is like probably a wood saw or something. I'm going to saw as close to him as possible, and then Ordell, instead of ripping this dude in half, is going to try and cut the wood, so at least the dude can stay together to the best of its ability.
You grab a saw or an axe.
I'm gonna first try with I'm gonna do the proper woodsman way. I'm gonna mark 2 chips with an axe, and then I'm going to saw.
Good.
Axe for the initial, and then saw is for the finer.
So as the first swing of the axe hits, his head kind of jerks and reacts and moves. Go ahead and roll me. It's going to take you some time, but roll me a strength check to see how easily you're able to knock this tree down.
Pretty easily. Flat strength, or can I add proficiency because I'm using tools?
Athletics, whatever that is for you.
Athletics. Hell yeah, that's very
Ooh,
good.
can I give a little slap on the bum and say, "You got this,"
Do you-
and cast guidance?
You can. You slap him on the butt, or Dell, somebody slapped you on the butt.
Emma tries to give a wink, but of course there's no eyelids.
So
I
it
will
stares
address
at you
this
without
after.
moving.
Yeah.
The skull.
I can just imagine Emma lifting her hand up, and there's like an eyelid on the thumb, and it just goes up and down.
I will address that after.
Okay, so another +2. So that is 25.
25.
Yeah, 23 + 2.
This is a
Yeah.
dead tree. As you take your first swing of the axe, you're a big guy. You get a 25. The first one, this tree is actually quite hollow. It's been this size for a time and hasn't grown for quite a while. It's unsure how long this person has been here on this tree. As you whack it the first time with an axe, one hit is enough to fell this tree, as the inside has been rotted with fire and deadness and termites for a long time. As this tree immediately lands and slams onto the ground, the ghoulish man goes "Ah!" as the side of him that slams into the ground is now trapped underneath a tree. He careful.
I left the tree, and I'm going to help him out to the best of my ability.
It's
Like
probably
a
gonna,
pinata.
as he's now laying on the ground, literally inside the tree, squished on one side. It'll probably take 3 of you to get him out. 2 to pull on the arms, 2 to pull on the legs, and 1 to lift up the tree to make it happen.
I'll lift the tree.
Ordell goes over, grabs the bottom of the tree trunk. It's light enough for you to be able to lift up one side, no problem with your base strength score. Anybody else helping to get this man off the tree?
I still have my gun trained on him.
I'll help.
Yeah, I'll help.
Winter, you go and grab his arms. Ashrin, you grab his legs. Both of you go ahead and roll me a strength check. We'll do an athletics.
It's a 4.
15.
15. You pull at uneven rates
Ouch, bitch.
as you go across. You pull at uneven rates as you go across. In doing so, it causes this man a bit of damage. He's taken some damage from the tree falling and some damage from this, but he's just able to get out without having the rest of his sides ripped apart. As he does so, he's held up barely by the skin
Free
around him.
inspiration time. Oh, hello.
Oh,
boy.
the little
Oh,
baby.
Robot
Look
baby.
at that sepia little
Ah.
baby.
What
Free
an old baby
inspiration
from
time.
the olden times. He must be old now.
The future is now. You too could have babies.
You could have babies. I guess you can.
Free inspiration.
You absolutely get your point of inspiration. You're like,
Have a
all
good
right,
night.
now get it, get
Have
out
a
of
good
here.
rest.
It's my free inspiration.
Also, just because it is 9:08, I want to say, Lana, go ahead. You can get your point of inspiration too, Drew. Lana, go
It's
ahead
his birthday.
and do the giveaway so that people can get that. We're just going to continue right on, so make sure you check to see if you're the winner on it. But he is barely alive. Some form of magic is allowing him to, as he pulls himself up, be alive. He seems to have no spinal column now that connects his upper half down to his bottom half. He literally has a large hole where you can begin to see his beating heart out from the top of the bottom half as he now stands. He pats his leg off as if there is something there to get rid of some dirt. He sits in what are leftover rags from long since expired clothing as he pats himself off. Thank you. Thank you. Still unable to look around, he kind of holds his hands out, waiting for somebody to like touch somebody and pat them.
Emma's gonna lean over to Winter and say, I have the insatiable urge to tickle. And pointing to his heart that's clearly visible is just like a ripe little apple in a tree, just like tickle, tickle.
Do you go do it? Or just pointing?
No, but I have the urge. I
Okay.
have the greatest of urges. In fact, how big is
I,
this urge?
When
Not enough
Emma
to go do
says
it.
when Emma says that, I am going to like move my fingers and green energy comes out, and then like a green heart appears just above her fingertips. So she is able to satiate that tickle urge without actually touching the ghoul.
An illusory fidget toy appears before you, Emma.
Love it.
Tickle away, my queen.
The man looks and says, thank you. Where's the tree?
I take his hand and I'm going to like, actually, because I'm assuming this dude hasn't stood in a long time, I'm going to carry him gently to the tree. Because you mentioned this dude is flimsy, and then I'm going to like place him so like he can kneel by the tree.
As he kind of, you hold him up under the arms like a small child. Hey, free inspiration to Brie. Oh,
Also, I
cute
think I would
baby.
scoop him just in case. I'm scared if I hold him by the arms, his lower half will just go. So I think I'm gonna like scoop like I'm holding.
Cradle
what's
of
the-
the
yeah,
child.
cradle. That's the word I'm looking for.
As he kind of looks, he touches how like large your body is, and if there were eyes there, he could kind of sense concern and confusion as to how large you are. Before you set him back down, yes, Brie, if I didn't say, you also get inspiration. As setting him down, he seems to look around and feel his hands around before he touches the tree. So he goes, "It's still just a sapling. No apples, no nothing. I'll search elsewhere. Where's the nearest farm?"
Why are you looking for apples?
That away.
Food. I'm hungry.
Farm? I'm gonna look around.
I throw the half-eaten apple.
Do you hit him with it?
Ordell will catch it for him.
Ordell, you grab the apple and look over and give Emma a distasteful scowl before handing it down to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna like take his hand and cup it, and goes.
It's mostly eaten, but it is an apple.
With what few bits of hair he still has stuck to the parts of his head that isn't an open skull with nuts kind of buried into it like a squirrel's hole. He smells it, his nose looking very much like Voldemort's, just an open kind of few little nostril lines before he crunches into the apples. You can see moisture fall from his lips. As you sit there and talk to him, he kind of hungrily devours the apple, just without any second thought. He eats it core and all before just picking up the stem and throwing that out of his teeth. As he's doing so, you can slowly see a bit of apple fall from his top half, landing onto what remains of his lower half into his kind of hip area. There's not much blood or anything in there.
An apple. Emma says as bits of
I was
apple.
Fall through her hip bone as
Just giant pinball machines, just the things bouncing.
as eats the apple, says, "Thank you. Been ages since I ate, but still hungry. Where's the nearest farm again?"
Just because this seems to be relevant all day, the year's 4150. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Okay.
So, like, there's nothing here.
There was things here before. I grew on a tree, and a tree grew for me. What do you
This
mean
land
nothing's
is
here?
desolate. You will not find farms close here.
Well, point me to the nearest one still.
Yeah, no,
What's
there's
the others?
nothing here.
There aren't any farms anymore, I say, popping in and out of existence.
Come back.
As he goes, he sits down then, cross-legged and cross-armed, where he says, "Guess I'll wait then."
4.
He points to the tree. Apples.
Oh, that is a good idea. In fact, there's probably going to be apples growing all the way back from that town.
Town?
Yeah, there's a town back that way.
What way? As you point your thumb backwards, he looks around.
About 4 or 5, 6, some odd miles that way. And again, just pointing.
Already growth, already apples. Farm?
I don't know if they have a farm, but I was eating an apple on the way here, and the seeds fell. So eventually, over time, there'll be apple trees growing there.
He stands up again, says, "Okay then. Probably faster than waiting here."
Not only that, it is a town full of wonderful, nice people. The best.
I'll go there then. This tree. He points to the wrong direction of where the tree is. Keep it. Thanks for removing me. Find a new apple. Before he begins walking off. Wrong direction again before... Does anybody stop him before he begins heading?
I grab his
basically
shoulders and
north?
correct him so he can at least go the right way.
He said, "Thank you." Before walking back the direction you all just came.
Safe travels.
Before he waves his ghoulish hand up in the air.
As he's far away, Emma's like, they're not going to like him.
Ordell, since you helped him out of the tree without pulling him in half and killing him, take a point of inspiration.
Okay.
As you all now see a ghoul walking southwest back towards the portcullis of which you came. You also have a sapling apple tree seeming to grow in this desolate land down below.
Ordell's gonna take out his like tools and whatnot. I'm assuming I have like potentially like wait, you said it's like a 5-foot sapling, like it's pretty big.
5 foot. It's still going to be maybe 2-3 years before it really gets a lot of apples going.
You know, if we carry it with us at least till end of day, I could bring it in my ring with me. We grow a tree inside my ring.
I did farming at my home. I don't eat, but it is a good pastime.
I do need more apples.
Emma, where do you get those apples to begin with, anyways?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna
That's a
start
very
digging
good
around
question.
the tree, just like as far as I'm assuming, like Ordell being somewhat savvy with like plants and things would just like kind of give a wide enough berth so it has some soil, and then I'm going to like pluck it and take just some like because I have like an extra set of like I have 2 extra sets of clothes, so I'm gonna take like because Ordell's like main thing he wears is those big leather ponchos, so I'm gonna wrap it around the base, almost like when you buy like a new Christmas tree. Just gonna wrap the roots in twine and rope, and just so I have that, and I'm gonna put it on my back.
Okay. As you pull it together, basically making like those sapling bundles where it really is, they keep dirt and root in there where they're going to transport it and put it somewhere. It's going to be a heavy thing. It will probably take you both hands to carry. So if you're kind of holding it, just because you're also carrying dirt with it, unless you're trying to just like leave it, but if you're carrying dirt enough to where it can still survive for a long period of time without immediately being replanted, you'll have to use both hands to carry it for a while.
Okay.
Okay. As you slowly bundle it up, it takes him about 20 minutes or so to do this, dig up the tree and put it back. It's the first sign of growth that you've seen in a while, so it's a pretty good sign at least. With that, go ahead.
Oh, you said there were nuts in the eyes of the ghoul as well as tucked in other places. Are they on the ground?
There are a few around the tree, most of them not as buried. It seems that he may have thrown it pretty hard into the ground for that first one during a rainstorm and been slowly collecting water for it over time. But there are a few nuts on the ground if you'd like to grab them.
Yes, please.
Roll me a survival.
Uh-oh.
Get them acorns, but don't get the
Oh.
wrong ones.
Nasty 20?
Nasty
Can I
20.
help? Oh,
Dirty,
Or too
nasty
late.
20.
Then you find a nasty bunch of 20 walnuts.
Hey. Wait, nasty bunch?
Just
Like
covered in dirt.
I'll wash them.
Gonna wash them. Gonna use that water. As Emma sits there, I'm just gonna use
Can you use one?
use that water to wash off those walnuts.
Yeah,
Not
the
gonna,
same.
I don't know, ask the magical creature that sits before you.
Yeah,
As Emma holds up her hands.
same
That is-
place that you get your apples, I'm gonna get my water.
In the ring? You can't go in my ring.
I think she gets it from Nunya.
Where is that?
Yep.
Is that a new town?
There's the first one. Jakey gets the first GFY.
Oh, that is an Ordell thing, because he can tell where she's going. And Ordell, like, deadpan says the joke, and for the first time he does smile, and then he keeps walking.
Winter chuckles as well. Like
That was an Ordell thing. That wasn't a Jakey making the joke. That was like
Okay.
he is seen interacting passive aggressively. Ordell's pulling it.
Like Spider-Man, everybody gets one. You get one pass here.
Do you tell me, is
Just kidding.
Is
If
that
that's
a
his
new
character, then fine.
Is that a new town to the area? I've heard of Elfin Vale and the Scorch and Silverlands and Calchester.
Your business, the joke is over.
Oh.
This bit is no longer funny.
And I keep walking. That one I will.
Anyways,
Yeah,
oh,
okay.
flower bean!
Yeah, there you get your first one. Referencing a bit. Ye old bits, as we used to do them back then. Right, as You see the ghoul walk away. You've now gathered a group of walnuts and a small sapling of an apple tree. You're still here in the dead center of this forest. You could still continue heading east, XC. You are still confident in your ability to lead everybody out of here if you'd like. What's everybody doing?
So tell me about this blood magic.
East. And I just keep walking east.
Ashrin begins to lead everybody east. XC course correcting as required as you all eventually make your way out of the forest. After walking for maybe another 4 or 5 hours, the sun slowly begins to set and the moon rises on the other side of the night. You could keep going, pushing through the night, trying to get somewhere, or you're in a wide open landscape here. In the distance, maybe about a mile away, you can see lights in the dark that seem to light up the wall for them to be able to see. But from where you're at, you're about a mile away from that wall in a wide open field. There's a few small patches of grass that are growing out here, but mostly desolate land.
Reminds me. Looks like the hells.
We want to continue on or stop here?
It is getting dark.
How long have we been walking for? Like,
You've been walking since the morning and it is now sunset, so about 12 hours.
12
You have-
hours.
I'm tired. Is anyone else tired? Do you guys get tired?
I was actually awake for all 800 of those years.
Emma, really?
Yep.
I
Good books, though.
I do rest, but I don't sleep. So finding a place to sit would be acceptable.
Well, shall we rest?
What are your thoughts, Ashrin?
I'm pretty exhausted, not going to lie. I was more so wondering if C rest.
XC would likely rest.
See, like
I
hibernate.
do use power down processes.
Right. Yes, I think it'd be good for all of us to power down.
Okay. You all decide to stop and make camp for the night. As it is darker, it's probably a good idea. You're in an unfamiliar territory and not entirely sure where to go. Though winter, you're certain that eventually you have to hit the coast. You've been going for a long time today, though you all haven't been at a rush. You've just been at a slow pace going along. Still, it's a long day's walk. How are we setting up the camp? We wanted to have a fire. You're out in an open field, or you want to not be seen. Curious as to how everybody plans this thing. Since it's the first time, I'd like to know.
What's the
What's-
temperature like here? Sorry.
I was just about to ask the same thing. No, we're seeing brain cell.
It is nearing the end of summer and getting towards fall. So it's still warm during the day, and it's, maybe about 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Don't know what that is in Celsius, but in real temperatures, it's Fahrenheit, and it's about 60, 70 degrees at night. You still would probably want some sort of blanket, but could sleep without it.
I don't think we should put a fire. I don't want to be exposed in the open like that.
That's why you dig little hole fires.
I also have extra ponchos and blankets in case we need.
I'm gonna put my stuff out for my tent supplies because I'm assuming because they took all my stuff, they would have left me my hut, which it was just a larger tent kind of.
Yeah, if it's in part of your pack, you always have a go bag ready to go. They found that and grabbed what would have been in it.
Okay, then yeah, or I was gonna leave that out for people to set up, but I'm gonna first start planting the tree just so it can be all good for the night.
I set a pack down.
Yeah.
A bedroll.
Okay. As you all begin prepping
Yeah,
for the
I'm
night, opting for no fire, correct?
I'm gonna give Asheron and Winter my 2 extra like large ponchos. Like Ordell's 8 feet tall and they cover like his torso to his like stomach. So these are like giant snuggies of like probably like leather and like wool on the inside. Like they're heavy, but like they'll keep you warm kind of thing. Because I'm assuming both Exy and Emma, like me, don't really feel super cold.
Okay.
That is correct.
As Ordell passes out 2 large ponchos for snuggy-like warmth, Exy, Emma, and Ordell kind of gather your stuff, but, you know, again, you don't really need extra warmth to prep for the night. You all set up a pseudo camp here, finding some dead logs in which you can rest your knapsacks and your pillows. Emma, you may not even be out there at all. You can definitely go into your ring if you would like. But if you're staying out, is everybody going to sleep all at once?
No, we're setting up watches.
I will stay.
Post-apocalyptic world now.
So I will.
Gotta ask.
To let you know, I am able to keep watch over the whole period of time. I can activate my Overwatch procedure. No need to sleep.
That is something I can also do. I don't know how long your guys' is, but mine's 4 hours where I can. It's described. I thought it was 8 hours, but it's. I don't need sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you finish those hours inactive, motionless, during which you remain conscious.
And I can spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state rather than sleeping. I appear inert, but I am not unconscious and can see and hear as normal.
Mine is, you don't ever need to sleep, though you do have the ability to do so sometimes.
But you still
So we're all just there both sleeping, but we're all standing overhead being like, y'all awake yet?
You just tell us when you're ready to go,
ladies. Winter is like super excited and is like kid at camp type vibes. So like trying to get to sleep, but like drawing in my journal, like sketching the person who had a tree growing out of them that we totally just chill interacted with a few moments ago. Like this is she's giddy AF.
Are you having a hard time going to sleep?
Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm kind of excited. It's hard to sleep when you're excited.
It's understandable. Do you want some help going to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you're willing. Slap my hands on the shoulder, and then thaumaturgy, green eyes, sleep as I cast command.
Can I choose to fail?
Yeah, if you're willing, you absolutely can.
It's a wisdom save. Oh, I got you. You chose to fail. Okay. Yeah.
Sleep.
Okay.
Winter is out. Asheron, you look a little concerned, and your hand kind of quickly goes to your rapier before Emma just stands up and walks back over to her pack.
Winter,
Well, she's fine. Do you need help sleeping too?
don't touch me. I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell them I only need 4 hours, so I can, when I'm done with my 4 hours, I'm gonna like spy on them, pretending I'm still sleeping.
Winter is
Winter
straight
the-
up the beauty sleeper.
Winter is gonna seem so human around these people. Like, what? I'm up. I'm awake. What are you talking about?
Everyone's like, let's go have a night adventure. Winter's like, no. Stop it.
Look, sleep is so 400.
Guys.
Right?
As Winter goes to sleep, Asheron, slowly you do drift off to sleep, but you do make a point to, when you wake up, not actively wake up, but so much just open your eyes and begin to kind of go back to sleep as if you turned over. But before that time, Exy, Ordell, and Emma, who are up during this time, or at least in an inactive state. Exy, other people wouldn't know they're inactive, but Ordell, They would know that you're just kind of there. And Emma, you do whatever you want during this time. I need the three of you to make perception checks.
Spaghetti. Hey, all right.
Jeez. I love perception with my new character.
21.
26. The third 19 for perception in a row.
I don't know if I want to share mine anymore. You know, I don't feel like sharing with the class seems fun.
Ordell,
Got a 2 + 4, so I got a 6. Okay, I got a 6.
Ordell
I will protect you.
flicks a rock between one thumb and another before he accidentally hits himself in the nose. And
Ordell does though, because I guess this kind of justifies the thing. Ordell's like rooting through his bag to see like what they brought, and the music box that was playing the music. Ordell finds that and looks upset that he found that. So he's like just gonna shove that back in the bottom of his bag.
as you're going through your belongings, Exy and Emma, you're looking around, just kind of keeping watch. Exy, your eyes are just constantly scanning, even though yourself, you look powered down. As Emma's kind of pacing around the camp, really kind of tapping her foot, waiting for people to get up. You've been trapped somewhere for 800 years. You're not honestly excited about resting. You just kind of, before Exy and Emma both kind of catches your eye, there seems to be a light in the north, moving offwards towards the west, as if somebody has a torch walking maybe about half a mile from your location.
Psst. Psst.
What?
Psst. There's
I don't reply.
someone. There's someone over there. With a
Define
torch.
over there.
Can I see them now that Emma's pointed it out?
If they point it out, yes.
They're not bothering us, so we will not bother them.
Is that what Emma says? Okay, Bert.
You haven't figured it out by now. Emma might have a screw loose. And
I'm
isn't
well
the war
aware,
form.
but I didn't realize the Muppets were somewhere trapped in there. Or sorry, Sesame Street crew.
Don't
I guess
make
they
me
are
have a new fine familiar voice. What were you saying, Exy?
I said, you also have screws?
Mhm. Too many. Too many.
As you basically say, we don't have to worry about it. Ordell kind of looks back down. Exy, you're still looking off and haven't pointed out to Ordell that you've noticed or taken a look yet. You see the torch kind of what seems to touch another one, touches another one, and there's a few kind of off from that, as now there seems to be a small group of torches, maybe about 10 or so, gathered around this one small location.
Is
Still
there
about half a
problem
mile
now?
away.
Yeah. They've stopped here.
Is it our problem now?
It is starting to become that, but not yet.
Generally, when people have torches, they have pitchforks.
It would be not my first time seeing that.
I could imagine.
They will need more than pitchforks if they wish to disturb their rest.
And he indicates to Asterion in winter.
How many hours into the night of sleep of rest has it been, Ryan?
It's about 2 hours, so it's roughly 10, 11 o'clock. So, Brie, you know, you're very, very deep
So
into your
much
REM
sleep.
cycle.
Ordell
I'm so
is
sorry,
going to go.
guys.
Ordell's gonna go and like not walk towards us super far, but about like 50, 80 feet from camp, and he's gonna take his maul and just drag a line so that like they can both see.
If they cross this line, they are our problem.
And then I'm gonna go back and sit down.
That's a good, solid line. Anybody ever tell you you make good lines? That's a good line.
I just
I will,
look at Emma.
I will awaken at this moment. And
I-
I will grab my gun back out from my back. place it into my left hand. And then the two legs that you saw pop out before in a V come into place as if they're like the legs of a sniper rifle. I then put my arm down on the ground, pointing the direction of the torches, and then go powered down again, as if I'm like in a sniper position.
We just watch one by one torches just start going out and falling.
Ordell, what is that? Pointing
What
at the
is
gun.
which? It is a weapon of war.
Mm.
It is a long-ranged weapon. Based on your magics, I'm assuming that you use fire or spells or things.
Got the magics.
This one uses artillery and weaponry.
Never been in war.
It is not pleasant.
Couldn't imagine it would be. Read about it.
What did you read?
People die. People in power keep staying in power. That's pretty much the gist of it.
You summarized it well.
Ordell's gonna take out his arm and indicate to Emma and show the Killmonger scars I indicated. Like just like the bumps and ridges along Ordell between the scars.
These are from war. Each time I had killed someone, I would brand myself. These were counted in tens.
And then Ordell's gonna go sit by himself.
As oh, good.
Emma's gonna just and then go lay next to XC and just like kind of army crawl up. And then just do the like what you thinking about kind of look while looking off at the torches.
Do you speak to
No
Exie at all?
response.
No.
Okay.
Just army crawl up and what you thinking about?
As Emma and Exie take a look at the torches for a while, not much seems to happen. A few of them kind of move and scuttle about. Maybe about 20 minutes or so pass. But then at the just apex of your hearing, just barely able to hear it, you hear some yell or shout, angry, off in the distance, before you begin to see the torches wave as if they're being swung heavily. A fight seems to have broken out before many of the torches begin to fall and land into the dust and onto the ground. Oh, welcome, Raiders.
Ordell,
Fight seems to have broken off to the north.
I think our problem's been taken care of.
We will investigate when everyone is rested in the morning. That seems to be the most life we have seen out here.
As you discuss this, you begin to hear the sounds of heavy running footsteps going in your general direction, though not directly towards your camp. Someone rushing with a huge limp in their foot as Emma and Exie, just as they begin to get closer in your vision to where you can see them in this open night sky, a woman runs in tattered garb across the field, limped as a bolt sticks out the back of her right calf as she's rushing, limping away from that location. Her hair pulled up tight in a braid with braids running out the side, and you can see blood kind of spattered across her face, though it doesn't seem to have originated from her. She doesn't cross your line, Ordell, but she does go right near it and around it, seemingly unaware of your small camp here. Winter, are you a snorer? How about you roll me a con save?
Oh no.
Question, is she armed or anything, or does this look like a common person just like running?
You might have to get a little closer, but firstly, Emma and Exie are the only ones who see it just yet.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No worries. Winter, you're good. You're not a snorer. As she seems to be rushing, clutching her leg, barely able to make her way out as she's rushing away from the north down to the south. She's going to pass maybe about 100 feet away from your camp, seemingly unaware of your existence. Do you do anything?
No, he hasn't passed. She hasn't passed the line.
I'll point back with my big toe at Ordell and cast message and say, "Still good?"
Where wouldn't I be?
Ordell says out loud because he hasn't experienced this before.
As Ordell says, "Why wouldn't I be?" The woman stops and turns, looking at your direction before she suddenly no longer headed south, kind of heads away from your camp.
Oh, if that's the case, and if I see that, I'm gonna cast message in her head and go, "Ah!" and get her to really get on getting.
Go ahead and roll an intimidation at advantage.
I'm so lucky that Winter's asleep.
That's my first natural 20th.
As
what a perfect time for that to happen.
as
Welcome to
Emma
Dungeons and Dragons.
turns and points to the injured woman running away, makes a ghoulish, screamish sound. You could see the woman topples over and covers her hand on her head, unsure of where the sound is coming from. And you can hear in her mind, because she doesn't know she's singing back to you, just, "Ah! No, before she gets up and quickly runs, now at full sprint, still with a limp, but seemingly unaware of the damage the bolt in her leg is now causing her calf, as she full on runs away from your camp and location.
I message back to Ordell. I took care of it.
Ordell, you do hear the scream from the woman before you now see
Ordell
her
hearing
rushing
someone
off.
scream, he's gonna place his maul in because I'm assuming I'm much faster than she is. Ordell's gonna run towards her.
No, stop, wait.
If
As
this is a lone person running who is injured,
It was me.
we just helped one. I don't care.
as she screams, Winter and Asterion, you're both jolted awake. Now seeing Ordell grab his maul. Emma.
No, I'm
and Ordell
I'm
arguing.
putting my maul down
Oh,
just
okay.
so I'm unarmed, but I'm gonna run after her. I also have. Well, I might as well say, because most people have figured it out, I have barbarian speed, so I run like fast.
Makes sense. You're big as you boom, 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 Winter and Asterion. You
This poor
awaken
woman.
to see Emma arguing with Ordell before Ordell throws his mace down and begins chasing after a woman in the night, who's limping and rushing off towards the southern wall.
I hopefully before Odell runs away, I'm like, friend or foe, friend or foe.
For now, friend.
All right, then I don't pull my trigger.
Exie turns quickly before pulling the sniper back, aiming towards where the torches were before. Asher and Winter, you see Ordell haul an ass towards this woman.
Oh, what happened? What's going on?
I just screamed in her head and she didn't like it and she was running and now Ordell's chasing her down, which probably isn't a good look for Ordell because let me tell you, I just screamed in this woman's head and now there's a big hulking monstrosity running after her and I'm just gonna say she's probably not gonna like it.
Scream in her head.
She was running towards our camp. We're in the
Oh,
dark. I wanted to spook. Spooky.
How far away is she now? The woman? Can I see her, or
She's maybe
am I
about-
just like?
At this exact moment for you all, she's maybe about 150 feet away. Ordell's about 100 feet away from her.
I'm gonna like spring up and like run after them and attempt to
I
pass
gather.
mass message.
I'm sorry. Can you see in the dark though?
I
It's-
was gonna say, I gather it's pretty bright light.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
moon and
Twilight,
twilight.
okay.
Holy crap, I just saw a huge lightning bolt really close to my house. Sorry. Yes, it is bright star and moonlight out here to where you're able to
Okay,
make
cool,
out
cool, cool.
pretty clear outlines of everyone.
I was just getting ready for Winter to just like eat shit, tripping over a stick.
Yeah, it's like being
I've got
outside
you-
in a bright night.
I can't sleep.
I'm gonna try and run after the girl, and when I'm within 120 feet, I'm gonna cast message again and say, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You're okay. You're okay. We're friends."
Ashrin, what are you doing before I continue?
big boy can handle it himself. I'm going back to sleep.
grabs the tarp and
Atta
pulls
girl.
over. As Ordell, you are hauling it towards this woman. Winter, you quickly get up and rush over. You're faster than her because she's limping before you say, it's okay, in her mind. Right as she turns around, hearing the lumbering beast rushing towards her, she get away, you brutes! Before Ordell rushes over, hands out. What are you saying at this time, Ordell, or anything?
I like one hand out, other hand. I hate to use these because they're expensive and probably we're never gonna find any more. But I'm going to pull out a health potion. I'm going to say,
Stop. It is all right. What are you running from?
As you're rushing. The potion would absolutely give you advantage. However, the voice in her head yelling, it's okay after the demon
Totally
screamed at her, cancels that out. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion.
just flat.
Yeah.
I mean, not terrible. Only a +1, so 15. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do my thing because I don't know the result. It's a 15 so far, but I'm still gonna use my past life trait, which made that a 21. That's a +6.
Okay. As you rush over, potion in hand, it's very small for you. You hold it between two fingers as you're saying, it's okay. As she hears this, it's okay. Overwhelmed, she just drops to the fetal position and curls up in a ball. As you see the bolt sticking out of her calf, she lays down on the ground. Winter, you rush. Ordell's very, very quick as he gets over towards her, but you're still rushing over to see what's going on. As the woman in her rags sits on the ground, kind of a one long, what might have once been a sheet, turned into a dress via a rope around, like a belt on the bottom. As she lays now curled up into the ground, you can hear her just kind of crying. Don't hurt me. We just wanted to drink.
You just wanted to drink? Explain.
She looks up at you. Are you... You're not wearing the clothes. Are you with them?
I am with 4 individuals who are not. You have not. No, I'm not with them, whoever them is.
At about that time of rambling from Ordell, Winter approaches, hearing what they're saying. He says, I won't go. I won't be a slave. Just let me... If you're not with them, just let me be, please. Or kill me, either one.
We want to help. What are you running from?
He looks over and says, there's a group of raiders that guard the well. We just wanted to drink. We've been in the ocean for so long we haven't had real water. So many of us, but then they started shooting. Just so thirsty.
I'm gonna lean down and put my hand on her shoulder and say, "It's okay. We're gonna help you. It's okay."
How? She looks down at the bolt in her leg and says, I'm done. I'm done.
Are health potions in because I'm not sure like the lore on them. Are they something you ingest or are they something that you can pour on a wound? Like, is this
Either way works. There's some people who prefer to ingest it. Some people don't like the taste.
Okay, well, Ordell's gonna do like a half and half. Like, Ordell's gonna like secure her leg,
I will need your help with this, Winter.
and I'm going to like put hands out so she can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna show the potion again. I'm going to remove the bolt and like pour the potion like on the wound immediately, and then I'm going to hand her the other half of the potion to drink.
Before you go to pull the bolt out, I'm gonna put my hand up and snap the end off it and give it to the woman to put between her teeth.
Good call. As you do so, giving her something to bite down on prevents her from screaming out and crying and possibly giving away her position. As she kind of winces at just moving the bolt like that before she bites down, looking at you. She has really no choice but to trust you in this moment. As Ordell, you pull the arrow out. You can hear as you quickly pour the potion on the other side, and then take the end of the bolt out and kind of shove the potion into her mouth before she kind of is forced to drink it. And in doing so, she like someone with an incredibly dry throat getting a liquid for the first time, she kind of coughs up most of it. But
It's 2d4 plus 2, right?
yes.
Then that's 9 health. 7 plus that was a 4 and a 3 plus 2, so 9.
A solid amount of healing. You notice that the wound itself heals up entirely, if not from the first pouring, but when she drinks it, she seems to heal most all of the damage that's been done to her. She... Why would you... She kind of wipes it before licking the rest of it off of her finger. Why give me this freely? I have nothing to give. What do I owe you?
I do not want anything from you. I want to understand why you were sent away from a well.
The raiders control it. We wouldn't have gone. We know not to go, but we had nothing, no choice. It's been days for some of us, weeks for others since we've had anything to drink. There's nothing but salt water out there, and we didn't have any wood to build a fire. Not enough for all of us to be able to drink. We needed the well.
Who are these raiders?
They control the well and bits of Novi. The remains of the town.
How many of them are there?
Not much. At the well, there were only 5 that I saw, but there's more in the old town.
And how many of you?
There were a lot. We came from a colony that moved around, but our pond ran dry. By the time we made it to the well, there must have been 100 of us. We were weak. Many of us elder, some children. We couldn't do anything. They had bolts and weapons. We have just rusty bits of metal.
Back with us. You show us where to go and we can help you. Right?
Roll a persuasion to make sure that she feels that you're not going to hurt her, but at advantage because you used the health potion.
I rolled an at 20.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
As she looks you up and down before what once was a scary presence for her with Ordell, she now, knowing that you're trying to hurt her or help her, feels that you are an intimidating presence that is on her side, which is a good
Bitch,
thing.
come back.
Sleep.
She looks you up and down, Ordell. Be careful. That may not be all that they had. I heard a ghoul in the night. Perhaps winged. I didn't know the cry.
But, I mean, ghouls aren't, like, inherently evil or anything. Right? Like, just a little Anyway, come back with us. It's fine.
As you speak, she
walk?
goes, you see a look of inquisitiveness in her eyes before she kind of shakes it away, not wanting to look a gift horse in the mouth. As she reaches her hand out, as you both kind of help her up, she looks down at her leg. It seems fine. She puts weight on it and tests it and seems fine. Absolutely good to go. Do you lead her back to your camp?
Mm-hmm.
She walks with you before Exy, Emma, Ashrin, you're back asleep. But Exy and Emma, you see them walking back over with the woman that you scared away, Emma.
Oh. Hey there. Hello.
Hello.
I whisper to the girl, this is Emma. She's a little strange.
I screamed
She
in your
might
head.
hurt you.
Wait, that was you?
I do it again in her head.
She jumps.
I smack Emma upside the head in front of her.
My head pops off and it rolls. And now I'm just like meandering, trying to find my head.
Just keep kicking it.
She looks at Winter and Ashrin asleep there. She's and then Ordell blows up and disappears.
Wardell's still
that's
here.
not
Oh
good.
no,
It's XC.
XC blows up. His internal
XC.
combustion engine. Boom. As now that I am XC, my protocol says that she's not allowed in here. Bang boom, she's dead.
Oh
Bang, bong.
god, she crossed the line.
As she is now inside the camp, she looks over and says, "Necromancers, then I'm sorry. Your pet was speaking to me. I'm sorry.
Sh-
I have,
She is our queen, my friend, not a pet.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Marigold Elowin. I'm sorry. Just." She looks over to the north. There, you can see. There's one torch that still seems to be sitting on the ground burning. XC, the torch that you saw earlier. One of our torches is still on the ground. It's there. Right there is the well.
Pick up my head and aim it at that direction, and then put my head back on.
Winter, Ashrin, you asked me earlier how you could help. This is going to be much more than repairs, but I don't like bullies.
Well, no, it's just nasty, really.
And you two need water.
I looked to Marigold.
We have people here who also need water. We are going to help with this raider problem.
You will? You risk your lives? Of course, we would share in the water. But be careful, they have weapons. They're dangerous.
We should play mind games first. It worked on you.
I've been shot.
How do you play?
It's easy. I seen you were yelling at someone in their mind. Can you not?
Yeah, and I point at Emma and go in her mind.
So we sneak
like
up,
that.
and the raiders, and then we scream in their heads, and then they're like, "Oh no, big scary things coming."
Okay. And then we
And
have
then
big scary
we
things.
attack. Well,
Then
then
we
we
have
attack,
these-
but we get them on edge first. You gotta wear down the mental aspect of these people.
Marigold sees XC laying on the ground and sees the gun attached to its arm and says, You've got weapons. We can use these," and goes over to grab the barrel of XC's gun to pull it up.
I grab her shoulder because I know XE won't handle that well.
As you're muted, Alex.
As
Yeah.
I've got it. As she comes towards me, I stand up to my full height, looking down at her. Do not approach.
I'm sorry. You're also strange. Before Ashrin, you now that they keep talking, kind of, you're forced awake at this point.
Oh, yes, you guys are all so loud.
And
Emma points. Inside Ashrin's head.
she kind of backs away a little bit, unsure of if this is something that she needs to be around. It's just kind of confused and scared.
We will handle this. Keep our camp safe. Do at least that. Winter and Emma, if you wish to really go through with these mind games, I think it would be wise.
Yes.
XC, I would like to see your combat protocols if things go south.
Affirmative.
We need to get these people water.
As the five of you look to the north and see someone or something extinguishing the last fire of the torch that lights up the area. As that seems like a good place to stop episode 1 of campaign 2. Very, very happy with it, and I'm hoping that you
Yay.
all had a good time as well. These new characters are so rad. I gotta say already, I'm already in love with all of them.
I was gonna say I love all your guys. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Lana, if you would go ahead and do the final giveaway for I think it's the Luxury and Opulence set by Moonbeam Menagerie. So if you haven't entered that, hopefully you have. We've given away 2 other dice sets and
You can no longer enter.
There we go. We've given away the dice sets and the art from Jakey tonight. We'll see who wins this one. Thank you all for joining us again for Campaign 2. Sol Wesson has won the Luxury and Opulence set. Everybody who has one, make sure you look out for an email, and congratulations to all of you for winning the super rad giveaways that we had for episode 1. Thank you for all of the makers who participated in those, Jakey, you as well. And I'm so excited to start campaign 2 with this whole kind of darker post-apocalyptic setting. Even so,
You're doing an
we have
amazing
some
job,
kind of fun
Rybonator.
characters. No, you and you and
The
you.
best. All of you are so great.
You're so good.
So talented.
Or how
If we're
You
nice
guys
to
are
everyone.
1-0.
Aw, so sweet.
Hmm.
If we're nice to everyone, then we can't possibly be evil, right? If we're just truly
Well-
neutral.
Trying to take a huge right turn from the last campaign where you were definitely evil.
If we intentionally act evil, we can't be evil, right?
That is
I think
sound
every
and logic.
sociopath has asked themselves that question, and I think we know the answer they came to.
Fair.
No perspective.
I'd like to steal the sun spear.
Do they have some
Natural
sort of golden
20.
spear?
It didn't come up,
Father-
otherwise that would have been.
Are there any
Oh
spears
my.
around?
Hmm.
Investigation check for spears.
here comes Alex's natural 20.
I thought when I described the kind of iron and
Why?
platinum looking spear that Asheron found that was just magically polished, XC was just going to be like, you what? There's your- what now?
Eggs.
I didn't know if Alex had stopped. But awesome. Thank you everybody for watching Campaign
Love
2,
you.
Episode 1. We'll see you next week, same time, same place for Campaign 2, Episode 2, where we deal with these raiders at the well and see what happens there. With Marigold Elwin, thanks for everybody who, when I ask a question of what do you want the NPC named, answered so quickly. So, well, thank you. We'll see you all next week. Excited to do the rest of it. Thank you, everybody. You're all awesome. Bye.
Thanks for
Bye,
coming.
guys.
Bye.